every now and again, but that happens. It's a very tricky ball to bowl. His stock ball leggy was turning, his wrong one was ragging, and it was really good to see.
I'd be interested, Rikki, if I can ask a spin bowling expert. I heard in his post-match and Sodhi's post-match interview about getting that flipper out, and I don't think we'd seen that a lot during the summer, so pretty big game to get it out first and foremost, but it actually went well, because I remember a couple of them where we might have commented in here about it being short and they've missed out on a short one, but obviously with it skidding on, knowing he's got that flipper now, it makes a world of difference, doesn't it?
Oh, you say it's a big game to bring it out on, but I think the band-aid's off now. You know, he's done it. He would have worked on a lot of trainings, and now the hardest thing is to bring what you're doing in trainings out into the middle, and the fact that he did brought it out in the first game of the series against the Aussies, I thought was fantastic. So, but like you say, I think the leg spinner, big tough art, but the fact of having work on the ball, like you say, guys go back, skids on a bit quicker, one might turn a bit more. There's just so many more options for a leg spinner.
No, there's no time to do it in front of 8,000 or so packed house against one of the best sides in the world. Sodhi 4 for 28 at Christchurch the other night, and here again today in the New Zealand lineup. I said you guys weren't allowed to pick Devon Conway, but we are going to have a chat about him. 99 not out, 93 not out, 91 not out, 69 not out. Those are his last 4 innings. The one prior to that where he did get out, he also scored 50. That was in January, and it was Matt Henry who was the last player to get him out. 5 successive T20 50s, one behind Sophie Devine's record. Hers are all in international cricket, I would say. But Devon Conway, we've waited for this guy to see him in the New Zealand team. He seems to be, even when he doesn't look like he's scoring fast, he's scoring runs, Jake. They come off the bat so freely, and he's so unflustered.
Yeah, amazing to hear that in his last 5 innings. You know, a 50 is a failure for him. But the thing I find amazing about Devon Conway is that he hasn't been frazzled yet, or he doesn't seem to get worried by first and foremost, the occasion. International cricket to start with, and now we're playing one of the best sides in the world in Australia. So, and at 19 for 3, if you're ever going to be a little bit on edge, you'd think there on a special day that it was in Christchurch, but he just carries on as he does. From a cricket perspective and a technical perspective, I love the way he can score all around the field. We saw a 6 over fine leg with a little flick off his thigh pad. He can also carve behind point, and we know he hits over extra cover well, and we saw slog sweeps come out. So the guy can play all around the wicket, very hard to bowl to.
I think it's also a reflection of the group as well. You know, that he's able to come in here and like you say, it looks like he's been part of the furniture for 10 or 15 years, and he's just able to come in, express himself. He's not doing anything different domestically that he has now coming up into the international level, and that's awesome to see.
Well, of course, 99 not out the other night. He was the player of the match. After that match, he caught up with Tom Bartlett. Let's have a listen back to Devon Conway's reaction to that wonderful performance on Monday night.
Devon Conway, player of the match. What a performance from you tonight. But I suppose, more importantly, the team got the W. Is that the most satisfying part of today?
Oh, definitely. You know, I think playing this five-game series against Australia, we were definitely keen to get off to a good start, so pretty happy with the way things went today.
Let's just go back to the first innings. Obviously, you came in at a pretty precarious position. The team were in a bit of strife. How did you go about building that superb knock?
Yeah, I think the key was just to continue playing positive cricket shots. You know, I think when Glenn Phillips came to the wicket, he just kept on reminding me to play strong shots and still be positive. So I try to keep that mindset, and luckily it came off for me.
What about the surface? Did it take a while to get in?
Yeah, I think it was pretty challenging in the beginning with the new ball. It sort of stuck a little bit in the wicket. But as you got through that and you spend more time at the crease, it got a little bit easier to get on towards the end. So it was one of those ones where you get yourself in, try and reap the rewards later in the innings.
And obviously, you know, lots talked about in any format or any level of the game that partnerships are key in batting. And obviously, you had a couple of really good ones in that innings.
Yeah, it was awesome to get the opportunity to bat with Kane. You know, very calm and collected in the middle. He probably calmed my nerves, so a bit of credit's got to go to him. But then also when GP came in and Nish as well, and even Sense at the end, it was awesome to sort of be at the other end with the guys sort of running hard between the wickets and having good communication. So it got us to a competitive total.
I know you're a fairly selfless guy, but 99, does that just a little bit great?
I think a little bit, not right now. You know, I'm just pretty happy we got the win. But I think over the next few days, I might, reminisce that moment of wishing that win for 4 or win for 2. But at the end of the day, it's okay. Pretty happy we got the win, so that's key.
Did you think about just putting your head down and going anyway?
Oh, Mitch Sandler sort of mentioned, like, you know, no matter what happens, we're running 2. But naturally, there was no 2 there, so just got to box smart and, you know, just settle with what we got.
Oh, terrific innings, and well done on your own performance and obviously the team tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
The Black Caps versus Australia. Live from the University Oval in Dunedin on your new home for live cricket. Magic Talk.
Australia has won the toss and are going to bowl first in the second T20 International against the Black Caps here at the University Oval in Dunedin. The kids are out with the flags and players are starting to lurk around the edge of the tunnel under the pavilion, and they will be out shortly onto this ground. We'll get some final thoughts, predictions perhaps from our two expert commentators, Jacob Oram and Mark Craig. New Zealand 1-0 up in the series already. Jake, expectations this afternoon?
I'm picking a closer game. I think Australia will be better for that game the other night in Christchurch. I think that we're better off for another couple of trainings and, let's be honest, a few more days out of quarantine, out of being in an MIQ facility here in New Zealand. So I think it'll be closer. I'm still predicting a New Zealand win because, first and foremost, I'm a New Zealander, but also I think they're on a roll, and I like what Mark said before about just being able to adapt and being able to handle situations thrown at them, and I think they'll go okay. And I'm also predicting runs at the top of the order for Martin Guptill.
Mark?
Yeah, I can't actually fault Jake too much there.
We'll find some faults. It's okay, we've got plenty of time to find some faults there. It's all good.
I'm going to pick it's going to go down to last over. I think New Zealand will get the win as well. And I'm also predicting Gup will go bang at the top.
All right, the thoughts of our two experts, Mark Craig and Jacob Oram. We will take a quick break. Those two will be back shortly with Tom Bartlett for the first ball here of the second T20 International. The Black Caps against Australia from University Oval in Dunedin. It's live on Magic Talk and Rover.
Magic Talk, home to Peter Williams, 9 till noon weekdays.
I was talking to a guy who runs a small retail business in Kohimarama. It's in a suburban retail block, and from what he was saying, it must be close to a police station or some sort of police base in the area, and he sees uniformed police in the neighbourhood regularly and passes the time of day with them occasionally when he's lighting up for a coffee and things like that. Anyway, his shop is broken into. A bit of stuff is nicked. Nothing serious, but it's annoying, and he'd like it back. He'd also like the break-in investigated. So he gets in touch with one of the police in person because he sees them around the neighbourhood. They know who he is. The police advice is to ring 105. The police did not even bother to visit the scene of the crime, even though they were effectively right outside the premises that had been burgled. I mean, have we really come to that in this country?
Leading New Zealand's conversation with Peter Williams, 9 till noon weekday mornings on Magic Talk. The Black Caps versus Australia, live from the University Oval in Dunedin on your new home for live cricket. Magic Talk.
Well, welcome back to the University Oval in Dunedin. We're getting set for the first ball of the second T20 International between the Black Caps and Australia. Of course, New Zealand winning Game 1 in Christchurch comprehensively on Monday evening, but Australia having had that hit out post their 2 weeks in the MIQ facility in Christchurch certainly will be better for that, and they have made their way out to the middle, the Australians, in their predominantly dark green and yellow strip. Aaron Finch, the captain, unchanged 11 for Australia, and that's exactly what New Zealand have gone with as well. So another opportunity at the top of the order for Martin Guptill, of course, such a successful player for New Zealand over many, many years, but it's fair to say his position is under some scrutiny at the moment, but class, they say, is permanent. And the predictions of Mark Craig and Jacob Oram in the Magic commentary box that Martin Guptill is going to go bang this afternoon. I'm holding you both to that.
Yeah, no, I'll stand by that. It's I think what else is going to be quite fascinating to watch today is whether these Australians can get the ball to swing. I think that was the key difference the other night in Christchurch. They really struggled to get the ball to swing, and then when it was our turn, the two thoroughbreds up top and Southey and Bolt, they got the thing going around corners. So it'll be interesting to see if Sam, who does swing the ball, can get it to go.
Lovely day, big crowd in. They have packed the embankments here at the University Oval. Crowd of around 5,500. This game was sold out following the game in Christchurch on Monday evening. And tickets are moving for those other games in this series as well. It's nicely set up with New Zealand 1-0 up in the series, as they say, after that terrific win under the lights at Hagley Oval on Monday evening. And it will be Daniel Sams who will start proceedings here in Dunedin from this northern end that we commentate from, and standing down at the striker's end is Martin Guptill, out there in the middle with Tim Seifert. Over time they have put some wonderful partnerships together, and New Zealand looking to make a bit more of an assured start to the game, to this game, compared to Monday, where they found themselves 19 for 3 before that work from Devon Conway. First ball of game 2. Daniel Sams bowling to Guptill. Full, and Guptill on the drive through the covers, and he'll get a boundary to get us going. Terrific start for Martin Guptill. It was full and it was wide, and it's 4. New Zealand 4 without loss.
Thank you to myself and Mark Craig for that expert prediction about watching out for Martin Guptill today. But great start, Martin Guptill. Over pitched by Daniel Sams. Obviously looking for a bit of swing, as Mark Craig pointed out. He can swing it back in the left armour, but not that time. An interesting deep point is out straight away, but still 3 extra cover, 4 runs.
Great start for Guptill. Sams, left arm, over the wicket, bowls to Guptill. He's pushing forward, this one out to point. And there is no run, 4 without loss. We certainly saw Mark Craig in the first game, and I know he's only faced a couple of deliveries. He was happy to let a couple go in Christchurch, and then flayed at one and hit it straight to backward point. This time, he wasn't mucking around.
No, I think that's right in his wheelhouse. That ball there was an over-pitched wide half volley, and what I like to see there was that Gup didn't try and overhit it. He just leant on it and caressed it through the covers for 4, it's a great sign.
Positive start for New Zealand, 4 without loss, as Daniel Sams comes in again, bowls to Guptill, this time playing and missing, and it's through to Wade, and there's no run, 4 without loss.
I think back to your earlier point there with Guptill and if you go the other night, it's such a fine line. You know, if you're scratching around for a bit of form and you want to feel bad on ball, and it's actually quite hard to go out there and actually let a ball go. And obviously, the other night it didn't quite work out, but he's looking good so far today.
As I say, he can fall back on years of experience at the top of the New Zealand order. Top run scorer in this format for New Zealand as Sams comes in again under blue skies, bowls to Guptill. Again, he's pushing forward to point, and there is no run, 4 without loss.
Really interesting field set, actually. You don't see it very often at the start of any international, really. You normally have gone for a fine leg or a wider fine leg and a third man, but we've seen a little bit creeping into the men's game now that there'd almost be a deep backward point and then a forward point, but now Australia have gone for even further round, so I think there might be Agar out there is at a proper cover point out on the boundary with short third man and a backward point in the circle, so a different setup to normal.
Sams again, bowls to Guptill. Guptill is pushing and he's off though. It's down to long off and he'll get through for the single, so an assured start here from Martin Guptill. He's 5 and that's New Zealand's total in the first over.
Just on that point there, Jacob, it's almost as if they've got 3 catches in play there, don't they, with that field setting of the backward point who's actually in really, really close, your short third man, and then obviously your slip. So looks like to me that Sams is going to be looking to bang away back of a length there and just try and nibble it across him.
Yeah, agreed. And actually, as we talk, we see the field completely change. So the Australians, and quite rightly, have done their homework. So that deep cover fielder has now come up into the ring. That was Josh Philippi, not Agar. Marsh has gone across to a mid-wicket, and now we have on the boundary, remember, power play, only 2 outside the circle, a fine leg and a deep square. So completely changed for Tim Seifert, about to face his first ball.
5 without loss. Guptill, the boundary off the first ball of the game, and Seifert prepares for his first delivery. Sams bowls him. He's slashing through, and he tries to get past Stoinis, who's had to trick across from mid-off. Manages to stop it, but not before Seifert gets the single, and so a good start for New Zealand, a solid start. Guptill is 5, Seifert is 1, and after 1 over, it's the Black Caps 6 without loss.
Tell you what, not a bad way to start your innings either by Seifert. I know it's only a 1, and the biggest scheme of things, 1 off 1 doesn't look flash, but if I was going to start with a drive like that, with the ball going across me on a good length, and you can just punch it on the up out of the middle, I'd be feeling pretty comfortable.
Yeah, word on the inside from the camp is that old Seifert's he's probably the best at playing quicks and picking up length, and as shown there, he's not afraid of hitting on the up through the covers.
Finish on it, left arm round.
An interesting decision here from the Australians. They have thrown the ball to Ashton Agar, and so the big left arm orthodox spinner is going to open up from the stadium end of University Oval. What do we make of that, Jacob Oram?
Well, they started with Zampa the other night, didn't they, who bowled the second over. So they like the idea of slowing it up and taking the pace off within the power play. But tonight, this afternoon, I should say, going with Agar. And maybe just gives them a little bit more control being a finger spinner as opposed to the leg spinner. Or maybe they're saving Zampa's overs for later on in the innings.
So first ball from the stadium end, the southern end. Agar, short, and Seifert is slashing, and it squirts out to mid-wicket. Player coming in off the boundary. Can't prevent the second run, but they get through for one. So Seifert is 2, and New Zealand to 7 without loss. We're in the second over.
Yeah, I think to your earlier point there, Jacob, as well, I think bigger ground, probably Zampa getting away with bigger square boundaries, and like you say, a bit more control from Agar here in the first 6. Offside field up, and obviously just the cow and long on out. So he'll be looking to bowl with a fair few arm balls, I'd say, and obviously not leading the stumps.
Guptill on strike. Agar bowls to him, and it's short. And again, he's playing it to mid on, and Agar's across to do the fielding. There's no run. 7 without loss, New Zealand. Guptill is 5, Seifert is 2.
Just thinking back to the warm-ups as well, I saw Agar bowling a lot with a new ball, and actually I remember thinking to myself, it's a lot of in-swing he was getting, a bit of an arm ball, so obviously knew he was opening up with a brand new rock.
Here's Agar to follow. Guptill is forward, plays it back down the pitch, and there's no run. 7 without loss.
I think, looking from where we are, they look to have been 3 arm balls, I think, to get his over underway. So Jacob's bang on the money there. He's not a big turn of the ball. I think he'd be looking to try to beat them on the inside as opposed to the outside.
Agar around the wicket again to Guptill. This time he's turning it to mid-wicket. They've taken 1, and they didn't really push for the second with the player coming in off the boundary. So Guptill is 6, Seifert is 2, New Zealand 8 without loss. A couple of balls to go in the second over.
Interesting to see actually how long Tim Seifert waits here for a reverse sweep. He's a very good player of spin and does have that in the locker, so let's wait and see.
Agar again, bowls to Seifert, and he's coming forward and then back, playing it out to point, and there is no run. 8 without loss. Just gave a little indication there of looking to come forward and having to rock back when it was darted in again from Ashton Agar. Last ball of the second over. Agar again up to Seifert, and he's driving out to covers, and there is no run. End of the second over. New Zealand having been asked to bat first by Australian captain Aaron Finch. 8 without loss. Guptill is 6 and Seifert is 2. So far, Mark Craig, a more assured start from the New Zealand openers than we saw on Monday evening.
Yeah, I think that's a great start from New Zealand. You've got to, I think also in T20 cricket, you've got to give due where due's rewarded. Ashton Agar bowled an exceptional over there, and it's up to now asking the Kiwi boys to make some tough decisions there. Do they get down and lap, being the fact that he's only just bowling arm balls, or do they look a reverse sweep? So I think it's Kane Richardson into the attack now. So back to some seam.
It'll be, is it Jai Richardson who's going to start? They did mix up their bowlers at the start of the innings in Christchurch, and here it is. Jai Richardson, right arm over the wicket, bowls to Guptill, and Guptill is driving over the top, long it goes, and miles over the embankment for 6. Guptill got a full one from Richardson and just swung through it, and way over long off it went for 6. New Zealand 14 without loss. Now there's a shot, Mark Craig.
That's trademark Guppy for you. The check drive over long off and held the pose. So that's always a good sign for New Zealand cricket fans, seeing when Gup's playing that shot.
It's become such a signature shot. Planted the foot, swung through it. 6 runs. Here's Richardson again. Goes this time a little bit leg shy as Guptill plays it out to short mid-wicket and scampers through for a single. So good start to the over here. Guptill is 13. Seifert is 2. New Zealand 15 without loss. That's probably more the length to Mark Craig. I think Jai Richardson, he knew straight away Guptill's too good a player to miss out on those slightly fuller ones. Second one much more in the hitting zone for him.
Yeah, it's probably offered just a slight bit of width there. I think that second delivery of Jai Richardson was much probably over the top and middle. So just straighten up his line slightly. It'll be interesting to see if they go cutters or cross seam or not early on.
Here's Richardson, first delivery at Tim Seifert, and it's full, and he drives it down to mid-on, scanning through in the dive from Seifert. Doesn't hit Maxwell, and he's safe, and so New Zealand go to 16 without loss. Probably hit that one better than he anticipated, Tim Seifert. Got to Maxwell very quickly at mid-on, and they completed the single. 16 without loss. Guptill is 13. Seifert is 3. And New Zealand in this third over made a good start. Same stage on Monday evening, they'd lost 3 wickets, so it is much better. Guptill waits again for Jai Richardson. Right arm over the wicket, bowls to Guptill. This time he's pushing forward out into the covers. Marcus Stoinis comes in and there's no run. 16 without loss. Guptill 13, Seifert 3. Tom Bartlett and former Black Cap Mark Craig in the commentary box. Terrific crowd, and Mark, certainly the Dunedin Knights, they haven't missed out here, have they?
Nah, it's great to see Uni Oval with a packed embankment, and the weather for a change. Normally when the big boys are in town, the weather doesn't play ball, so it's good to see the sun's out.
Guptill waits again for Jai Richardson. It's full again, and he's driving down the ground straight over the top of the bowler's head, and that'll be 4. Terrific shot again, full from Richardson, and Guptill having dispatched him over. Long off for 6 at the start of the over, and picks up another boundary. Straight drive from Guptill, beautiful shot.
Looked to be the three-quarter ball there from Richardson. Saw Gup and Seifert having a wee chat in the middle there. I think it's coming on probably as well as what they thought. Maybe just sitting in the wicket slightly, so it'll be interesting to see.
20 without loss. Guptill is 17. Good start from the New Zealand opener. Here's Richardson. This time he plays and misses. And through to Wade, and that will end the third over of the New Zealand innings. Australia, having won the toss and elected to field, put New Zealand in, and so far a good start from the Black Caps. Guptill 17, Seifert 3, 20 without loss. Yeah, interesting point you make there, Mark, about that. Perhaps just a little conversation between the batsmen, and I suppose this is what it's all about, assessing the conditions early and making sure that this good start, 20 without, particularly for Guptill, who obviously hasn't enjoyed much luck with the bat recently.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's key to T20 cricket, and no doubt that those messages will be getting relayed back to the sheds. And hey, boys, look, we think it looks to be a little bit tennis bally on those balls that they've gone three-quarter or cross seam on. And so that'll get back to the group, and they'll sitting there in the change room probably now thinking what's a good target and work towards that.
Another change in the bowling, and it'll be Kane Richardson to start from the stadium end. Seifert waits, and Seifert plays it out to cover, and he's caught. Got a little bit confused between whether to pull or play through the ball. Seifert spooned it out into the covers. The catch has been taken, and the Black Caps lose their first wicket at 20. Tim Seifert caught off the bowling of Kane Richardson. Just seemed to get a little bit confused there, Mark, about what shot to play, really. He didn't really know whether to go through with a square, play it out square, or play it straight.
Yeah, I think the ball from Richardson there, actually in-swing bowler, has just cramped him up for a bit of room. And like you say, he was looking to go over point and just cramped him up for a bit of room.
Caught by the captain, Finch. Tim Seifert goes for 3. And the Black Caps lose their first wicket at 20. And out to the middle comes Kane Williamson. Another one, played a couple of cracking shots at Hagley Oval and got himself out early. And he's in here in the 4th over. Still inside that power play. The Black Caps 20 for 1. And Martin Guptill there on 17 and looking pretty good.
Interesting to see straight away. Finch has gone on the attack and he's brought himself in from cover to first slip. So obviously Kane being the key wicket here for the Black Caps and early on. So Aussies full on attack.
That point, backward point, third man. Finch at what would you call that? Like a second, almost a third slip. He's pretty wide, more second. Mid on, mid off, cover, mid wicket, and then a player out, backward square. Glenn Maxwell. Kane Williamson gets set for his first delivery. Good start from Richardson. Here he is again. Bowls to Williamson. And Williamson's forward and plays it out to Ashton Agar at backward point. And there is no run. 20 for 1. New Zealand. Guptill 17. And the captain having just arrived at the wicket after the dismissal of Tim Seifert for 3. Blue sky. Bit of overcast, a bit of cloud around. Good crowd in. Pitch looks good. Cracking afternoon for T20 cricket. Here is Kane Richardson again. He bowls to Williamson, and Williamson's playing this one down between that gap between slip and backward point. And Zampa comes off the third man fence to collect. The captain off the mark. 21 for 1 New Zealand. Typical way for Kane Williamson to get off the mark, isn't it, Mark? Just run it down, run it down to third man, soft hands.
Just about to say that's very much trademark Kane Williamson. That the ability to play with soft hands and let the ball come and just ride it down to third man for 1.
21 for 1. Guptill 17, Williamson 1. Just joining us, Tim Seifert dismissed at the start of this 4th over. Guptill waits for Richardson again, and this time he's going off the back foot, playing it out to backward point to Agar, and Again, there's no run. 21 for 1. Certainly finding the middle of the bat, isn't it? Guptill, even in a defensive shot, he's giving it well off the willow.
Yeah, no, he's getting himself into really good positions, strong positions, letting the ball come and playing it late. So, like you say, most of it's coming out the fat of the bat.
1 for 1 from the first 4 balls from Kane Richardson. As Guptill leans over his bat again, waits, takes a couple of steps and then smashes it over. One bounce down to the long off boundary for 4. Lovely shot from Martin Guptill. He goes to 21, New Zealand to 25 for 1. That is more like the Guptill that we know.
Yep, he's going bang again. That trademark Guptill. It's very interesting to see, though, early on. You can see when Guptill has gone over the top straight down the ground there, that they've gone slightly fuller than back of a length. And you can see that when they're actually hitting back of a length or even shorter than back of a length, it's actually been a bit too pace, bit tennis ball in actually what looks to be the struggling to get a bit of timing from that length.
25 for 1. With 1 ball to go in the 4th over. Richardson bowls again to Guptill, and again Guptill this time is playing and ball bounces before gets to Wade, beats the bat of Martin Guptill. So that ends the 4th over here at the University Oval in Dunedin. 25 for 1. Martin Guptill is 21. Kane Williamson has just joined him on 1. We'll take a quick break and come back with Rikki, Swannell and Mark Craig on Magic Talk, and streaming everywhere on Rover.
Magic Talk and Rover's commentary team choose to stay at the Novotel Christchurch Cathedral Square. Book online at accor.com/New Zealand. Official hotel supplier for New Zealand cricket. The Black Caps versus Australia. Live from the University Oval in Dunedin on your new home for live cricket. Magic Talk.
Next over while the quick's on, is that okay?
The Black Caps are 25 for 1 after 4 overs. Kane Williamson on 1, but Martin Guptill 21 of 16. Just the start, the most under pressure player in the New Zealand lineup perhaps would have wanted. And already we're going to see another change. The Australians into the bowling lineup. They keep mixing it up, and it's Adam Zampa who's going to come in from the northern end to the New Zealand captain, Kane Williamson. He's got a good record against Williamson. They brought him on early against him at Hagley over the other night. At Zampa and bowling to Williamson. He gets a full toss and Williamson just clips it off his hip through the onside for just a single. And we wanted to see Zampa early into the action, Mark Craig.
Yeah, it must have been wide straight into Aaron Finch to get him in early. So it's good to see this guy. I think this guy's an exceptional leg swing bowler. I think his T20 career has been outstanding, and he's definitely one to watch. So it'll be interesting to see how the boys play him.
Zampa being a real mainstay of this Australian white ball team. He's got Guptill on strike. Guptill is on 21 and looking good so far. He just rocks back but can't get that through the onside. And the point cuts it off, no run. Guptill 21 off 17. Crowd starting to really get into their work by the sounds of things too. Packed to the gunnels here at the University Oval. The Black Caps sent into bat by the Australian captain Aaron Finch. At Zampa bowling to Guptill again. Oh, he's a little French cut. He's going to get away with it. It's gone fine. There's a chase out in the deep. They'll be able to cut it off and they'll come back for 2, but maybe just a little bit of luck is what Guptill needs as well.
Yeah, I think you bang on the money there as well. You know, he's doing all the right things, and cricket's a game of luck. I think if you're struggling for a bit of form, that luck doesn't seem to go your way, and when you are in form, it does. So here's hoping it continues for Gup.
28 for 1, Guptill now on 23, 4.3 overs gone. Zampa continuing on to Guptill, just plays it off his toes, and Matthew Wade behind the stumps. Good bowling from Zampa, but Guptill gets a single, just pushes it through, and the player comes in from long on to do the fielding.
So to see Zampa already going through his bag of tricks already, changes of pace. That one there maybe looked to be one out the front of the hand and was on that Yorker length, so intriguing to watch.
Williamson back on strike. He is on 2. Of course, he missed out the other night. A rare miss. He's trying to use his feet, Williamson, coming down the pitch. It just drops it down and no run. Wade, the keeper, comes forward to do the fielding. Good start from New Zealand. Sent in again by Aaron Finch, but also to the Australians looking pretty sharp as well. A couple of days, extra days out of quarantine. Zampa hits the crease and bowls to Williamson, who turns it away and looks to run quickly. Zampa can't do his own fielding. Turns it into the onside and they get a nice single from it. New Zealand go through to 30-4-1, and that ends the Zampa over. 5 gone. Guptill 24, Williamson 3, and Mark Craig's going to step out and Jacob Oram is going to come in. It must be said, a great first stint from Mark Craig, and he's called it. Guptill for it to go bang a couple of times and done it.
He did well, didn't he? He put them on the line straight away in his first stint, and he's, what are we looking at? 24 off 19, so far so good for, well, more importantly, Mark Craig up here. But obviously, Guppy's pretty happy as well.
Good to see Martin Guptill. Of course, new baby arrived for the Guptills as well in the week. Little baby Teddy a couple of weeks ago. So congratulations to them and good runs on the board. Ashton Agar continuing well as well. He's just bowled the one over so far. He's going to come in from what we're saying is the Forsyth Bar end of the University Oval, the rugby ground just over the way. You can see the arches on the roof, and it's spin from both ends at the moment for Australia. Ashton Agar to the New Zealand skipper Kane Williamson, who just turns it away to the onside. It'll be a single for Williamson, turning over the strike to Guptill.
So 6 bowling changes in the first power play, or in the power play in the first 6 overs. So Australia obviously loved this rotation. They employed a similar tactic up in Christchurch when it went pretty well at 19 for 3, and similar things here, 31 for 1, low strike rate.
This is Ashton Agar bowling to Guptill, who's just gone straight down the ground, over long on for 6. I think it just creeped over the boundary. What a beauty from Martin Guptill. And he goes through to 30 from 20.
Well, as I say that, a good start by Australia, a couple more of those lusty blows, and it's going to be a good power play for New Zealand. But as we've already seen about 3 times this morning, or this afternoon, Guptill, that check drive, that punch, beautiful shot over mid-off.
6 off the last ball. It's Agar in again to Guptill. This time he goes into the onside, and they'll get a single. Might look for 2. Yes, they are going to come back for 2. Good running, good comfortable 2 in the end, and that was a feature of the New Zealand game at Hagley Oval. They used the big boundaries. They scored plenty of runs from 2, 34 runs of 2s.
They ran well in Christchurch, and there was the gap. You've got Maxwell at mid-wicket, and you've got Stoinis at long on, but right in between the 2. Well run, New Zealand.
Guptill and Agar again, and this time he's cutting it through, and it's got through again. In front of point and down to the boundary for 4. Guptill has gone 1-6, 2 and now 4 in this over. And Martin Guptill through to 36. The Black Caps 43 for 1.
Just a little shimmy to the leg side. Just half a foot to give himself that room, because it wasn't wide. It was about off stump, but with the shuffle to leg, he could free his arms and cut it away through cover point.
What's the response from Ashton Agar? Expensive over so far. Guptill this time always lost his footing on the way through as he turned it away in front of square into the onside. He'll go through for a single. New Zealand go through to 44 for 1. 1 to come in this over. The 6th. And Ashton Agar had a few from it. It's Kane Williamson on strike now to a tall, lean figure. Ashton Agar, and Williamson just leans back, and he'll come through for another easy single as it's played behind square into the onside. Really good over from New Zealand, 45 for 1 now. Guptill 37 from 23, Williamson 5 off 7.
Well, 15 from the over, and that's a good way to finish the power play, New Zealand. So after Australia probably dominating, not complete domination, but having a good power play the first 5 overs, New Zealand making sure the last over was in their favour. 15 off the over, well played by Martin Guptill with some offside, nice play and some good running. And I would say at the moment New Zealand with their noses in front, but a long way to go obviously, but so far so good for this New Zealand side.
It's going to be Adam Zampa who's going to continue on from the northern end of the University Oval. Kane Williamson just wandering down the pitch, and look, it's New Zealand in the beige again today, beige for the series.
You're not happy though with the beige, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm sorry, I'm just not a fan. I like the intent, and Canterbury, you do some great kit. Just don't know if the colour. But anyway, Kane Williamson is on strike to Zampa. Williamson just turns it away for 1. Into the onside, long on, coming in to do the fielding.
Oh, yeah, lad.
Good bit of fielding. Ashton Agar out there. And a little bit sharper in that area too. Australia, they were a bit disappointed. They gave away too many runs. Captain Aaron Finch in that area. Just having a chat to Marcus Stoinis, who's down here on the long off boundary. Zampa bowling to Martin Guptill, and Guptill has gone straight back over the bowler's head. He's gone over us and out of the ground for 6. Huge blow from Martin Guptill. Massive shot.
That's huge. That has gone a long way. And I think if you can hear us in the back of the box saying, ooh, that it generally means it's a good shot. So it's almost the trademark Martin Guptill as well, where it's a big stride. He's a tall man, and he keeps his head down, and he doesn't worry about where it's going. He stays in the stroke, and that has gone into the rugby training fields over the back there?
The Highlanders training ground behind there. And the other rule is that we're actually kind of in the firing line a little bit, but no chance of that one because that was just too big. Guptill, he goes through to 43, 52 for one, just testing the quality of the windows.
There's a lot of window right in front of me, and I'm not keen if he continues with this form, but that is, we've seen that so much from Martin Guptill, haven't we, over his career in white ball cricket. He just holds his shape and he hits straight so beautifully.
43 from 21. This is from a man who scored about 80-odd all season combined. This time it's a dot ball. Good response from Adam Zampa.
Rotation of the seam.
As we said, he's struggled a lot this summer. 46 in combined innings against Pakistan, 39 in 2 matches against the Windies. Missed out the other night, but he's going great guns here so far. He's on strike to Zampa. He's coming down the ground, and this one's gone high and big. This time over long on, down to our left and into the rugby ground again. Martin Guptill, another massive blow. He's gone through to 49. The Black Caps 58 for one.
Well, I think the difference there between the first shot is he's obviously shimmied his way down, but if you took a photo of after the strike, it's very similar. This one here, Guptill comes down a couple of feet, gets to it on the half volley, over long off again, the same distance probably, over into the rugby training fields like you say, Rikki. But again, just a nice, strong, powerful stroke, but with really controlled technique.
There's a chap and his wife who are out in the rugby ground out for a bike ride. He's had to do the fielding twice in this over. Martin Guptill on 49. Adam Zampa comes in to bowl to the New Zealand opener, and he's going to get a single, and he's going to get a half century. The most under pressure man in the New Zealand lineup has responded in kind. That is performance under pressure. Martin Guptill, 50 off 27, 4 fours, 4 sixes. A wonderful knock so far to get New Zealand off to a flyer.
Very well played, Martin. He was under a lot of pressure, and he's responded in the best way he knows how, and that's just to hit the ball hard and straight, and it's a great start. 50 off 27.
So New Zealand 59 for one. It's Williamson on strike now to Zampa. Final ball of the over. And it finishes at 14 from it. 2 huge sixes for Martin Guptill. 59 for one after 7. Guptill 50 off 27. Williamson 6 off 9.
I think what it shows, Rikki, though, is it shows that, and we talked about it before the game, we expect a high-scoring game. We know 190-something is the Super Smash average score here. And it's just the nature of the boundaries. This isn't the smallest park in New Zealand, but with a good wicket and smallish boundaries, you've seen not only 12 balls ago, we were talking about how well Australia was doing and how controlled they seemed to have it, and they bowled well in the first 5 overs of the power play. 2 overs later, a 15 and a 14, just by some nice, good hitting and nice technique by Martin Guptill. It flips around, and New Zealand's well ahead of the game.
16th half century in T20 international cricket for Martin Guptill. And well, he's had some important ones in that time, but certainly would say this one in terms of his career is incredibly important. Jai Richardson now coming in from the Forsyth Bar into the stadium too. Guptill again, who just waits on this one. He'll get a single behind square. A really good run from Williamson. Nice sharp bit of fielding too by Ashton Agar. Couldn't prevent the single. This feels really poised, Jake. It feels like both teams are up for it. Australia haven't done a heck of a lot too wrong. And just now Martin Guptill finding form.
Well, and that's the weird thing about cricket, is like it's a team game, but if one person plays well, then that could be the difference between winning or losing. So far for New Zealand, Martin Guptill's looking like being that man.
Jai Richardson, and it's Williamson who is on strike too. Richardson, and Williamson has found the gap behind square in the offside. It's a wonderful stroke, and it's hit the boundary. Williamson races through to 10. New Zealand 64 for one.
Another slower ball, though. I've seen a couple of them already, and the Australians seem to be bowling their slower balls hard into the wicket, standing up a wee bit. I actually thought off the bat, I wondered if that was going straight to point, because it did flash in the air. I mean, it wasn't overly controlled by Kane Williamson. At the end of the day, 4 runs, but still aerial pass backward point. Here
is Williamson again on strike to Jai Richardson. This time Williamson goes straight back down the ground. There's a fielder, though, at mid-off, and he cuts it off. There's no run. Matthew Wade leaps into action, the Australian wicketkeeper.
I coming back to your point, both sides up for it, absolutely, and why not? I mean, you've got New Zealand ahead trying to get 2-0 up, which could be unassailable, but you've also got the Australians, and we talked about it coming out of the MIQ. You know, you almost say, okay, we'll give you one game, but I wonder if the message from their coaches, well, we've had that one game, now we've got to be on the ball.
Jai Richardson bowling to the New Zealand skipper Kane Williamson, who this time does find that player at backward point. It's along the ground though, there's no run. It's Ashton Agar doing the fielding. I wonder, Jake, though, too, and I know we love night cricket and night sport in general, it's the thing done, but I look at this ground in this great afternoon, Thursday arvo, packed house, 2 o'clock start. It's got a real buzz around the place.
And the players would like it too. Honestly, I know night cricket it's prime time and all that sort of stuff, but the players want to play with the sun out in the blue sky.
Jai Richardson, penultimate ball of his over, and this time Williamson scampers away for a quick single as he turns it behind square leg umpire. Player coming in off the boundary does the fielding. Good running again from the New Zealanders so far today. Guptill's on 51, Williamson's 11, and New Zealand is 65 for 1.
We're just seeing a montage of Guptill from today and everything. There's one full follow through. The rest of them have been almost check drives, but getting it early enough to get it over the top and go aerial, but just pure hitting so far from Martin Guptill.
And it's Guptill who is on strike. Final ball for Richardson. This one he just spoons back the player down at long on, will do the fielding for a single to finish the Richardson over. It's a good over from Jai Richardson. 8 gone. New Zealand 66 for 1. Guptill 52. Williamson 11. I will step out a bit more from Jacob Oram and then Tom Bartlett to join.
The Magic Talk Summer of Cricket. Brought to you from inside the Resine commentary box. Resine Cool Colour. Paints and stains that help your place stay cooler. The Black Caps versus Australia. Live from the University Oval in Dunedin on your new home for live cricket. Magic Talk.
Well, welcome back to the University Oval in Dunedin, where at the moment it is the Martin Guptill show. 52 not out. The under pressure New Zealand opener has responded. And the only way he knows how, 52 and the New Zealand total of 66 for 1. We've had 8 overs. Just joining us, Aaron Finch, the Australian captain, won the toss and elected to bowl first. So he put New Zealand in, trying to, I was going to say repeat the dose from the other night, but it didn't work out so well. Daniel Sams is going to take up the attack from the northern end, and he's bowling to Guptill, and he flicks it very fine. The player is racing around from a very wide position, almost at a square leg, to cut it off, and the New Zealand batsmen have got through for 2 runs. So Guptill goes to 54, and New Zealand 68 for 1.
Actually well fielded down there by Kane Richardson. I thought that was 4. When it crossed over the 30-yard circle, 30-metre circle, I thought that's got to be 4, but he did well out there. Just as that foot hit the, what is the advertising Toblerones, he just scooped it in prior. So he did well, Kane Richardson, in the end.
Geez, not a lot in that, is there?
They are having a good look, aren't they?
For a second there, my first glance when we saw that initial replay was that I think his foot is touching the rope. It's touching that blue, and it's on top of it. So it's a 50-50 call for the umpires. Looked like a good piece of fielding from Kane Richardson. In the end, it is a good piece of fielding because it's just 2 runs. So Guptill is 54, New Zealand 68 for 1. And Daniel Sams, the left armour, around the wicket. It's a wild one, and Guptill slashes it through past point, but there is a player out on the square boundary, and they will reduce that just to a single. So Guptill goes to 55, New Zealand to 69. It was pretty wide and pretty high.
Yeah, that must have been close to at least them having a little look, a check, the umpires, to see if it was over the waist for a no ball. And in a way, though, it's 1 run. You take that any day of the week, especially against someone who's currently 55 off 31. Smashed out to deep cover point, but yeah, definitely touch and go there.
A little reminiscent of the delivery that Devon Conway got when he was sitting on 98. Couldn't quite do the damage. Here's Sams bowling to Williamson. It's a slower ball, and Williamson just pushes it out to point, and he'll scamper through for a single. New Zealand captain goes to 12, New Zealand to 70 for 1, and that's 50-run partnership between Guptill and Williamson. Dominated, obviously, Jake, by Martin Guptill.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Guptill's strike rate's miles away from where Kane Williamson is, and I think maybe Kane, just for this period here, is thinking, well, I'll try and get Martin on strike as much as I can, but there will come a time where Kane will flick the switch and need to look for those boundaries like Guptill is.
Sams, short and slow, and Guptill pulls it square out to the man on the boundary. It's Maxwell out there. He fires the ball in, and they've taken 1 run. 71 for 1. Guptill 56, Williamson 12.
It's almost getting to that point of prediction time. I always reckon around that 9, 10, 11 mark where you can... It's not as easy as just doubling the score, but it gives you a fair indication once you know the pitch and how many wickets in hand. You can start to predict what the New Zealanders are looking at.
Sams. Yeah, this time Williamson plays it out forward a point to the player on the boundary, and they'll take another single. Williamson 13, Guptill 56, 72 for 1. So what is, at the moment, based on what you've seen, Jacob Oram, what is the target here for New Zealand?
Great question there, Tom. Really good question. Look, I think there'd be, 1 down after 9. I think they'd be disappointed if they're not 10 and over at least from here. So I think something around that 180 mark.
Sams bowls to Guptill. He just smash it down the ground, just loses grip of the bat and plays it out to a very short mid-wicket, and he doesn't get a single. So that's the end of the 9th over here at the University Oval in Dunedin. 72 for 1, the New Zealand score. Guptill is 56, Williamson is 13. You say 10 and over, Jake, that would take them to 180? My maths is right. I'm not very good at maths.
Yeah, give or take. But and this is where it can just change all in and over, or even a couple of balls. If Australia were to go bang bang and suddenly New Zealand is, 80 for 3 or 85 for 3, it can change. And if New Zealand get them through to 160, 170, they may be happy. But if Guptill stays in for another 4 or 5 overs, you'll be saying 200 plus potentially. So it's still the hard work has been done by New Zealand. They've broken the back of the innings. They've gone through the power play. They've still got 9 wickets in hand, 66 balls remaining. But it still needs to be pushed on from here because, as I say, there's a bit of a fork in the road at the moment for New Zealand.
Left finger spin of Ashton Agar coming into the attack from the stadium end. It's driven by...
nice moving, Finney.
It's Williamson on strike out to Finch, who's in the covers, and they screams as the ball just dropped in front of Aaron Finch. 72 for 1.
Very well fielded in the end as well. It actually was almost past him on that right-hand side as he dived and stopped it on the half volley, prevented any sort of a run.
Agar around the wicket again to Williamson, and he swings, and that's gone down fine for 4. It was leg shyness from Agar, and it was just collected by Williamson over the top of the very short, fine leg, down to the boundary for 4. New Zealand to 76 for 1, Williamson to 17.
Well, I think that's leg sideish purely because I think Kane Williamson foxed him there. He shuffled his right leg to leg, almost feigning that he was going to get himself that way, and I think Agar was smart enough to follow, but then Kane Williamson, double smart, doubled down and managed to get it down leg side for 4.
Agar full. This time it's driven straight back down the wicket, and it's fielded by Agar, but he can't control it. He managed to get his fingers under it, stop the ball, but it squirted down past the umpire, and Williamson's gone through for the single. He's 18, the Black Caps 77 for 1.
And Guptill's looking straight here already, I know. I mean, he's hit there all day, but we know the short boundary straight and the way he's been hitting it, not a lot of turn. One of these is going downtown.
Agar shorter,
Get up now,
and Guptill goes back and then pushes it out on the leg side, and the player at deep square comes in to collect, and Guptill takes the single. He's 57, Williamson 18, 78 for 1. I suppose the question, Jake, is Ashton Agar brave enough to toss it up, see if he can lure Guptill into a false shot?
Well, no is the answer, but just, you've said, is he brave? No, but he's probably smart as well, and a lot of the time in 2020 cricket, efficient bowling is not pretty bowling. He's doing it well this over.
Agar, and it's Williamson this time down the wicket, straight over the bowler's head, over the sight screen for 6. That was a little fuller, but Williamson quick with the feet and got hold of it, down to the boundary and over the boundary it went for 6. 84 for 1, New Zealand, Williamson to 24.
Well, I just talked about effective bowling not being pretty, and that one there, I don't think Agar was trying to toss it up and do Williamson and fly, but the use of the feet by Williamson was amazing. Not quite the length and the distance and the height that Guptill has showed, but straight as a die, straight over the sight screen. And unfortunately for Agar, it's almost like a half hit down the ground today with the wicket being so good. No turn, tough work for the spinners.
12 runs so far off the Ashton Agar over. 84 for 1. Last ball, bowls to Williamson. He tries aggressive again, and he beats the player at backward point, but they ban out on the boundary. Going to cut it down just to reduce it just to the single. So that ends the 10th over of the New Zealand innings, halfway through their allotment. Williamson is 25. Guptill is 57. It's 85 for 1. Jacob Oram has stepped away. Former Black Cap Mark Craig is in alongside me. This is turning into be a very good start, and I suppose the most pleasing thing for anyone who's just joining us, Mark Craig, is the form of Martin Guptill in these first 10 overs.
Yeah, look, it's been, I think any New Zealand cricket fan doesn't like seeing anyone going through a rough patch, and Gup, like you said earlier on, he's played a lot of cricket and white ball, T20 cricket and red ball cricket, and had a wealth of experience to fall back on, and he's looked calm from the get-go. No doubt he would have been reading the reports and whatnot, so it's just pleasing to see him get through that first couple and get a few out the screws, and now he's absolutely dominating. So and Kane's just ticking along nicely with a great little partnership.
Williamson just went up a gear in that previous over, 25 off 20, that strike rate at 125. The partnership between these two of 65, and it's Marcus Stoinis who's going to bowl his first delivery of the innings, and it's short, and Williamson pulls it over mid-wicket. Player coming across from long on to do the fielding, and Williamson will get two more. He's to 27. New Zealand 87 for 5, 87 for 5, 87 for 1. Goodness me. It is Thursday, isn't it?
I just wonder if these two have come together, and Kane, obviously a wealth of experience as well, has sort of said, right, I'm going to start going here, and they've actually got themselves in a position where both of them can actually start to look to launch here with plenty of batting to come.
Williamson certainly looking to be more aggressive in the last few minutes. Stoinis again. This time he tries to lap it up, and it's fallen just short in front of Matthew Wade, the Australian wicketkeeper. It's not a shot you see too often from Williamson. He's managed to get through for a single. New Zealand are 88 for 1. Yeah, I was going to say it's not a shot you see too often from the New Zealand captain, an attempted lap.
No, and I think that's a clear sign of what we just spoke about. You know, that he is definitely starting to put the foot down. They don't have anyone inside the ring on the short 45 and a very square fine leg. So he's obviously looking to access that boundary down to a fine leg.
Waits again does Guptill, 57, short, pulled by Martin Guptill, but out on the bounce to Glenn Maxwell on that mid-wicket boundary, and just the single, 58 to Guptill, 89 for 1 New Zealand. That field, I've got a short third man, backward point, player out on the square leg boundary, mid-wicket is Maxwell, and a wide fine leg. Williamson waits, 28, 89 for 1 New Zealand. Stoinis bowls, it's full, and Williamson smashes it down the ground to long on. But Agar gets across, it's a couple of steps, collects and throws it back to Wade. Just the one run, 29 to Williamson, 58 to Guptill, 90 for 1 New Zealand in this, the 11th over. Big crowd certainly enjoyed the first 43 minutes of this game. We hope you are too, wherever you're tuning in. Magic on the Rover app, 90 for 1 New Zealand, being asked to bat first again in game 2 of this 5-game T20 series. Here's Marcus Stoinis. Up to Guptill again, short, and Guptill pulls it square. It's a man under it, but it's going to go over his head for 6. It was slow from Stoinis, picked early by Guptill. He swung it into the leg side, and just for a moment, the player on that boundary would have been looking for the catch, but over his head it went. Guptill goes to 64, New Zealand 96 for 1.
He's probably quite lucky there, actually, that we're playing down here at Uni Oval. It was very much a toed sort of top edge from Stoinis, bowling what's called a sloucher, slow ball bouncer. So, yeah, a little bit fortunate there again.
Fortune is favouring Guptill this afternoon. Stoinis short, and Guptill pulls again. This time he's got hold of it, and that's going to go for 6-2. Another big blow from Martin Guptill. Again, didn't quite get hold all of it, but enough of it, and over the long on boundary it went. The Black Caps 100 is up. They're 102 for 1. Martin Guptill is 70.
Yeah, look, this is probably something the Australians are actually used to, or not used to, sorry, been on the smaller grounds. You know, that's something they've been brought up with, playing on the bigger grounds, the big bash. You look, they bowl those slow ball bounces and get players to hit some big square boundaries, and that's actually not the case here today. So it's going to be actually really interesting to see, sitting down, if they actually can read the situation here and go, right, what's our key length, and what's our key line to bowl here, whether they start going Yorkers earlier, because it's showing that, yeah, those slow ball bounces, the boundaries just aren't big enough for these boys at the moment.
Martin Guptill 70 off 37, striking at 190, just under 190. Williamson 29 from 23. Partnership is 82. So far Australia, just that wicket of Tim Seifert for 3, caught by Aaron Finch off Richardson. All they've got to show for it. It's been a good start from New Zealand. 11 overs, 102. Platform set. Kane Richardson, the wicket taker, is going to come in, and he was about to deliver the ball when Williamson said, no, not ready. And some movement behind the sight screen of some kind. So he'll go back to his mark and start again.
It's an interesting field he's got set here. No short 45. You got a deep backward, a cow corner long on. The whole offside sort of short third man and backward pointer up in the ring. So expect to see a lot of pace off deliveries here, and again that back length that they've been going for.
Richardson bowls to Williamson. Williamson again just sort of manages to run it to that backward point player and gets through for 1. Wants to come back for the second with the throw going flying past the bowler. They won't get the second run. Williamson is 30. New Zealand 103 for 1, and this is the 12th over. There's an indication exactly what you're talking about, Mark Craig, of bowling to your field.
Yeah, he's run his fingers over that ball there, and again it's that back of a length, and Kane was only just able to dad to back a point for 1. So I think that's typically the type of ball that we're going to see Richardson bowl this over here.
1 for 6 from 1.1 for Richardson. Bowls to Guptill, full toss, and he smashes it down to long off for a single. Goes, takes the score to 71, and the Black Caps to 104 for 1. Probably feels he missed out a little bit there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think they're going to the death overs here earlier. The field he's got here allows him to bowl with having long off and long on. He can bowl his Yorkers, he can bowl his cutters and cross seams, and he can bowl his slow ball bounces with the square leg burn up. So whether or not Kane tries a little lap here again or not, time will tell.
104 for 1 under blue skies at the University Oval as Richardson comes in, bowls to Williamson, and he's slashing through backward point. It's a race around for the player from square, and he'll just cut it off. They've got to. They're going to come back for the third. Good running from the New Zealand batsman. So it's 3 to Williamson. He's to 33, and New Zealand to 107 for 1. And the deft touch just shows you, isn't it, Mark Craig? It's not all power in T20 cricket. The defts of touches of the likes of Williamson really do have a place in this game.
Oh, 100%. I think if you've looked at Conway, he's another one. He's an elegant timer of the ball, and again, it's just good cricket shots. You're gapping and finding boundaries.
Guptill on strike again, 71 not out. Richardson short, and he tries to smash it over mid-wicket, but he gets a top edge. It flies over the wicketkeeper Matthew Wade and down to the boundary for 6 runs. Getting a bit of luck, but he's had plenty where it hasn't gone his way. 6 more to Guptill. He's 77. New Zealand 113 for 1.
That's probably surprised him a little bit there, that cross-seam bumper from Richardson. Like you say, though, top edges, you go hard enough, they're going to fly.
Well, that one certainly flew off the bat of Guptill over the top of Wade and well over the boundary. 113 for 1 New Zealand. Guptill 77 not out. Here's Richardson, Fuller, and Guptill just opens up the arms and smashes him down to the other side screen for 6 more. 119 for 1, Guptill to 83.
Really like what I'm seeing from Gup here today. He's not getting too far ahead of himself. He's actually reacting to the ball that's been bowled to him, and every time the Australians have missed slightly full today, we've seen that trademark Guptill homer downtown.
Absolutely. He has peppered the long off and long on boundaries today. And in fact, he hasn't really peppered them. He's gone miles over them, up and over. Anything full, he's just got right under it. And he has made them pay. 83 from 40 deliveries. 119 for 1 New Zealand. We're in the 12th over. Partnership is 99. Richardson, last ball of this 12th. Bowls to Guptill, and it's full, and he smashes it over the covers. 1 bounce 4. Another terrific shot from Martin Guptill. He goes to 87. The partnership goes past 100. And the Black Caps after 12 overs, 123 for 1. And this is a clinic from Martin Guptill.
We'll take a quick break and we'll come back with Rikki Swannell. She'll join Mark Craig on Magic Talk and streaming everywhere on the Rover app.
Just because it's radio doesn't mean you shouldn't look good. The Magic Talk commentary team are proudly dressed by Canterbury of New Zealand. Proudly New Zealand established in 1904. The Black Caps versus Australia. Live from the University Oval in Dunedin on your new home for live cricket. Magic Talk.
21 runs off the last over. Martin Guptill, a couple of massive sixes in that. 123 for one, the Black Caps, after being sent into bat by Australia. Guptill is 87 from 41. Williamson 33 from 25. Guptill's strike rate 212. He's going all right, Mark Craig.
Yeah, he is. These boys have obviously put on an exceptional partnership and really set a launching platform for the rest of the boys in the dugout to come in.
So 8 overs remaining. It's going to be Jai Richardson back into the attack from the northern end of University Oval. This big crowd and brilliant sunshine. Southerly doesn't look like it's turned things around. They're having a whale of a time. It's Williamson who's on strike to Jai Richardson. Williamson tries driving down the ground. The player coming in from long off is Marcus Stoinis. He'll do the fielding, and it's just one.
Again, Jai Richardson there starting with a change of pace ball. It definitely looks like they have gone to their death options quite early here. So a little bit the case as the other night. They're just not quite executing probably their stop ball. So they're scrambling a little bit to find a formula that's working for them.
Yeah, they were frustrated at how they finished the other night. They'll be frustrated at the moment as it's Richardson bowling to Guptill, who hasn't quite got this one, but he's been able to beat the fielder on the inner ring. It was Aaron Finch coming across. It was aerial to the offside. It'll be just a single though. It'll move through to 88, which I think is more than his combined scores from every innings so far in T20 internationals this summer. Super impressive from Guptill. Richardson at the top of his mark, just in front of us, the northern end with the number 60 on his back, and he's bowling now to Kane Williamson, and now it's Williamson who's getting in on the action. He's got it over the boundary, over deep square for 6.
It's clever batting that from Kane. He's obviously picked up on the fact that they are going change up pace off deliveries here and just getting down on one knee and slog sweeping them over deep back and square.
Williamson now has gone through to 40 from 27. I tell you what, out in that square leg boundary, there's one poor bloke in a bright yellow Australian shirt, and the ball has come flying his way quite a few times. He's about 4 or 5 back in the bank, and I imagine he's keeping pretty quiet at the moment. It's coming his way. He's a bit of a lone soldier there at the moment. He's watching his team get carted around a little bit. It's Williamson who's on strike once more too. Jai Richardson, right arm over the wicket, coming in and bowling to the New Zealand catcher. This time Williamson driving. It's gone straight to his opposite. Finch is shy at the stumps, or Williamson would have been gone, and now they're looking overthrows. No, Finch is down on his haunches. He thinks he might have had Williamson there had he had a direct hit.
Well, I think by the reaction there, that was very close. Kane obviously gave up the ghost halfway down. I'm just watching the replay here.
Oh, it wasn't even a shot.
There wasn't much in that at all. So Kane's got away with one there.
Yeah, it wasn't even in the TV shot. Kane Williamson is now just doing a bit of shadow batting at the non-striker's end. Aaron Finch is opposite. An Aussie skipper knew he had him. He fired that ball in the mid-wicket area, but Williamson's still there. It's now Guptill on strike on 88, and Guptill has lofted this one over the inner field. It hasn't got it all, but it's going to be enough to go to the away to the boundary for 4 over a point area. And Guptill, well, when it's your day, it's your day.
Yeah, they'd actually brought on a change of the field there. They'd actually brought in, cover, brought in deep backward point, and Guppy managed to carve that one out over the covers for 4. So, again, coming back to that, just lacking execution here from the Aussie bowlers.
Another expensive over. This time it's from Jai Richardson. It's the final ball of the over, the 13th. Guptill on strike. He's now on 92, and this time he's driving it straight back down the ground. There is a fielder out there at Stoinis. He's done well to get around and do the fielding at long off. But another good over from New Zealand. 14 runs from it, 137 for 1. Williamson is 41. Guptill is 93.
great bit of fielding for Marcus Stoinis down there on the fence. The big rig, the Greek gods, got down and covered a bit of yards and got the ball back in over the top very, very quickly. So possibly saved 3 runs there.
Guptill on 93 off 44. I don't want to start talking about centuries and records and things like that. That's when you start to put the mockers on. 2 T20 international centuries, high score of 105. Fastest New Zealander to a T20 century is, well, it happened this summer. What was then the innings of the summer, Glenn Phillips against the West Indies. It'll be Adam Zampa. He's coming back in and on strike from the Forsyth Bar Stadium end. Bowling now to Guptill, who tries to use his feet and then just waits and is able to get another swing. Oh, it's hit the stumps, and not much of an appeal from the Australians. The throw came in. It must have been closer than it looked, but nobody's really moved, so perhaps our eyesight or my eyesight is not as good as I thought.
This definitely looks a lot closer than what people are playing on here. That could be in a bit of trouble here.
It was Ashton Agar who did the fielding, running through. I'm going to have a look. He's well safe. Oh, it's a good bit of fielding though, good direct hit. This one we've seen. You can see why they perhaps weren't quite as excited or enthusiastic as we may have thought. Anyway, Guptill is 94. Williamson's back on strike. He's 41. And it's Zampa who continues to him. Ashton Agar doing the fielding. Good point, just lurking around the ring. He's got a good arm. Zampa bowling now to Williamson, who turns it away into the onside square, just past the square leg umpire. They'll get a single, won't come back for 2 though.
Interesting here, great little phase here. This will be a great little battle here with Zampa back on. Current run rate will see them up over the 200 mark, and somewhere in the 12s will get them to about 220, and that'll take some serious running down from the Aussie boys with the bat.
Going at 10.4 at the moment, the New Zealand batsman. Just 2 from this over so far. It's Guptill on strike to Zampa, who's driving down the ground. Guptill only a single, though, down to the fielder at long on. Really aware, though, looking for overthrows, looking for extras. Williamson and Guptill using all their experience. Guptill now 95 off 46. 140 for 1. Aaron Finch, the Australian captain, has got the hand to the chin and a pensive look on his face. Must be said. Adam Zampa bowls now to Kane Williamson, and that's wide, and Wade's gone down over to his right, down in front. He's just lost control of that one.
I think he's obviously tried to preempt that Kane was going to come down there and gone slightly slower and wider. Just trying to stay one step ahead of the batters.
141 for 5. Wide called, and it's Williamson on strike, and this time it's into the onside in front of square just for a single. Glenn Maxwell will come in to the fielding and rifle the ball back to Matthew Wade over the stumps. Brings Guptill back on strike on 95. One big blow away, and there's been plenty of them from Martin Guptill so far. 8 sixes in this innings. Adam Zampa bowling now to Martin Guptill. The murmur goes around, and he just cut that away, and it's not going to get quite to the boundary for 4. It'll just be a single into the offside. And they're coming around and doing the fielding.
Great over this so far from Zampa. It's the 1 ball to go. He's just gone for the 6 off it so far with the wide. If he can close this out here without going for a boundary, he's done very well.
143 for 1 New Zealand, 1 to come in the 14th over. It's the New Zealand captain, Kane Williamson, who is on strike. Williamson sitting on 43, and he's got absolutely hold of this one, has he? There's a player back there. It's over his head, though, down in cow corner. Well, the good over comes to an end for Adam Zampa. He's got hands on head as Williamson just lofted it away. Williamson goes through to 49. Guptill 96, New Zealand 149 for 1.
Yeah, I think Maxwell's actually crept in slightly there. I think he's Kane's slightly done him there. Probably hit it a little bit better than what Maxwell first thought off the bat, and valiant effort in the end. But Kane's gone for half a dozen.
It's a big shot from Williamson. Gee, these two, what an effort from the 2 New Zealand veteran. Guptill on 96. He'll be next up on strike. Williamson is 49 on a glamour day in Dunedin. International cricket for the first time Australia's been here in 21 years. When we are on the road, the Magic Talk and Rover commentary team stay with Accor Hotels. There are 40 hotels and apartments across New Zealand. Perfect holiday spot for anyone. Accor Hotels, the official hotel supplier for New Zealand cricket. Daniel Sams back on for Australia, 1 for 12 of his 2 overs, and it'll be Martin Guptill on strike on 96. It's the murmur. There's no chant coming up from the crowd. I thought we might get it. Here comes Sands bowling to Guptill, who's just chipped it away. It'll be 1 bounce over from a square for just the single. Guptill through to 97, and that's 150 up for the Black Caps. 150 for 1 after 14.1 overs. Trying to find some answers. Guptill a bit of width in that last one. Sams, who's bowling now to Williamson, New Zealand skipper. This one just flicked away on the leg side for an easy, comfortable single. The player in short there, coming in off the boundary instead at deep square.
Yeah, looks like the field's set with points and short third man up in the ring, so he's either going to go whole or he's going to go that change-up pace that he just bowled there to Kane.
Right, terrible apologies. That's 50 for Kane Williamson. He has so played the second fiddle and the applause so muted. 50 up for the New Zealand skipper, but it's Guptill on strike and he is on 97. He's had a big swing and a miss, and that's kept low. And trickled through to the keeper, Wade. 51 for 1. That's the problem with Kane Williamson. You just, another half century. What do you do? They come pretty thick and fast.
Very unassuming Kane, isn't it? He's actually struck that at 156 and no one even really batted an eyelid.
Dear oh dear. Become blasé about what this wonderful New Zealand skipper can do. Right now it's Sams bowling to Martin Guptill. Guptill is on 97, straight back down the ground. There's a player out there. He's caught! Stoinis gets him on the boundary. Guptill throws the head back in despair. And Marcus Stoinis takes the catch down at long on. And Martin Guptill's wonderful innings comes to an end. 97 off 49. A man under huge pressure opening the innings for New Zealand. He's not going to quite get the milestone he wanted, but he'll get rich applause from this University Oval crowd. 97 Martin Guptill goes, caught by Stoinis, bowled Sands. New Zealand 151 for 2.
Yeah, awesome to see that the crowd down here at Uni Oval were on their feet applauding Guppy on what was an outstanding innings, and unfortunately just come in 3 shy of what would have been arguably one of his better hundreds that he's scored in T20 cricket, given the pressure that he was under.
Marcus Stoinis came around. It was a simple catch for Stoinis at long off. He's had a good pair of hands to stay in the game. Wonderful innings from Guptill. Comes to an end now. New Zealand have brought Jimmy Neesham up the order. So Neesham coming in to bat now with Kane Williamson. An interesting move. Craig alongside me, Rikki Swannell. Yeah,
it is. I think they've obviously gone for this is out and out power game now. The awesome platform that Kane and Gupp had put on there allows them to bring in the bigger boundary hitters that have probably been given a free licence here to go from ball 1. So Nisha's obviously been given the licence to come out here and try and light it up.
It's jumped up ahead of Conway and Phillips, who were due to be the next couple in. Instead, it is Neesham, and he is on strike too. Daniel Sams, left armour to left-hander, and Neesham straight away goes back over the boundary for 6. Caught in the crowd too. They've gone mad.
There we go. Clear intention set from the big Yeti. He's big Jimmy Neesham. He's planted that front foot straight in the wicket and swung one through his favoured probably position of cow corner. So intentions very clearly set.
The big Yeti.
Yeah,
now you're going to have to explain it.
That's a hell of a grab in the crowd.
he's come down, isn't he? And heaved it in the air, get a big hug from the mate too. Oh, Neesham straight into the game. 6 off his first ball. It's Sams bowling again to Neesham, and he's gone squarer this time. That one's not going to carry. Yes, it does. Behind square for 6. Back-to-back 6s for James Neesham to end the over. Well, Guptill fell for 97. Neesham's come out and gone bang, bang. He's gone through to 12 off 2. Williamson is 50. 163 for 2. It's all go as Mark Craig steps out and Jacob Oram comes in. Whoa!
What did I miss? Amazing stuff in the last, half an hour or so. Great partnership, New Zealand, Guptill and Williamson. And you mentioned about Williamson's 50 just sneaking up on you. But I think he was about 10 off 14 balls or something, and next thing he's bringing up his 50 off 32 balls it is. So he just, this ability to get himself in, to knock it round, pick up an early boundary, but look for ones, run hard, and then just to flick that switch and go from a strike rate of under 100 to something like 150. Just amazing, Williamson. But of course, the talk is about Martin Guptill and how well he hit it under pressure.
97 off 50, Guptill in there. James Neesham coming out, exactly showing why he was elevated up the order at Zampa into his 4th over. 5 to come for Australia in this innings. It's Williamson who's on strike, who just uses 1 and 2. So for a single. Like this from Neesham, though. He'd been given a chance to come in and do a specific job. He comes straight out and hits 2 massive sixes off the first 2 balls he faces.
Well, especially when you consider he's coming ahead of Conway, who has made every post a winner for the summer. So the selector, or the coach Gary Stead, maybe they had a plan beforehand. If we get in this position, Neesham's going to come in, who can maybe strike the ball cleaner from ball 1. And is doing that job. So that's a sign of just a team that's rolling when plans and roles are being performed how they're meant to be.
So Adam Zampa at the top of his mark. Neesham is on strike. He's doing a survey of where these Australian fielders are. He doesn't need to worry about them too much because the first 2 balls have gone for 6, and so's that one. Over deep square, and that's gone even further. Massive shot. James Neesham, 18 off 3.
Well, I'm waiting from a Francis Payne message about how many times I was thinking first 2 balls, now it's first 3. Has anyone ever hit the first 4 balls? But that's a slog sweep, mid-wicketish, just in front of square, but the leg spinner to the left-hander on these shortish boundaries, about 65 metres. If Neesham gets it, it isn't holding it.
What's the response from Zampa? As Neesham is seeing it, and he's gone, wow, down the same area, but it's just going to be 1 bouncing into the hands of the fielder down there. So the run comes to an end. Neesham, just this paltry, really. I mean, what's he thinking? Just a single. 171 for 2, New Zealand.
Should have had Conway, eh?
Yeah. Bring on Devon. Neesham, 19 off 4. Great start. Williamson, 51 from 33. Good response, though, from Zampa. 71 for 2. As Williamson is back on straight. He just rocks back and cuts this through the cover region. Sweeping around the boundary. They'll get a good 2 here, New Zealand. The Australians sending New Zealand into bat again, remember. Winning the toss, Aaron Finch. Opting to have a bolt. 173 for 2. Trying to find a response to some of this power hitting from the New Zealanders. Zampa bowling to Williamson. He's bowled him straight through. New Zealand skipper goes, but he's done his work, Kane Williamson. Great response from Adam Zampa. Williamson goes for 53. And New Zealand 173 for 3.
That's a big wicket, Zampa. Williamson was looking very good the previous ball, just knocking around. You'd think for 1, but went for 2. That one there, I think that was a wrong or some sort of a slider or something skidding on. That's a good wicket here in Dunedin, gone through the gate, maybe a little inside edge, but Williamson at 53 off 35, looking good. Now another new player to the crease, although we know Conway in form. Watch Phillips, actually, by the looks of it, Rikki.
Like the slightly broader shouldered, thicker of neck Glenn Phillips coming out. We know, well, we talked about some of the innings of the summer. Glenn Phillips certainly had one of those at Mount Maunganui earlier in the year. The big ball as well. So it'll be Glenn Phillips coming out to join James Neesham. 173 for 3. 1 to come in this over. 15.5 overs gone. New Zealand going 10.9. Neesham 19 off 4. Yeah, his first 3 deliveries for 6, and now joined by Glenn Phillips. Good knock at Hagley Oval as well too, didn't he? 30 off 20 odd, really supported Conway nicely.
Well, exactly. Contributions all the way down, and when you've got someone who's dominating an innings, you need people around to support that innings, and that's what Neesham, Phillips, and even to a lesser extent Santner did in Christchurch. And different situation here, but an exciting one all the same, where you can just try and continue the tempo that Guptill and Williamson started.
Glenn Phillips dancing on his feet on the crease. Such a competitor, Phillips. He's facing up to Adam Zand, the final ball of the over, and just turns it away to the one side for a single. In fact, they're going to come back for two. Pressure on the fielders. That is great running from Phillips and Neesham. Pads have come undone for Phillips, but that is really good intent from the New Zealanders. 175 for 3. Neesham 19 off 4. Phillips, the new man, 2 off 1. Kane Williamson going in that over for 50. A word from Jacob Oram, and then it'll be Tom Bartlett and Jake to take us through to the end of the innings on Magic Talk, and of course streaming everywhere on Rover.
Well, not to use that great cricket cliche about that was good cricket, but that last ball well bowled by Zampa. Another quicker one skidded on Phillips. Just works it to mid-wicket, and Maxwell, who's probably the pick of the Australian fielders, ended up picking up throwing in one movement parallel to the ground, but good running New Zealand, making sure that one turns into 2. 175 for 3. We've got 24 balls left, Tom, and I know when we were on last, we were talking about a predicted score. I think it was after 9 overs, and I had said 180-ish. But if Guptill had stayed in, probably looking 200 plus, and I reckon absolutely probably looking more at 210-ish at the moment.
Well, 24 balls, as you say, Jake, 24. They need 25 to get to 200, so that's one a ball. We talked about on Monday night about bonus runs on top of that. And if you clear the rope, 3 or 4 of them clear the rope, and all of a sudden you're well beyond that 200 mark. And I'm sure that's the target. 4 overs to go, and Kane Richardson's going to bowl the first of them. Neesham tries to run this one down and ends up playing and missing outside off stump, and it is through to Matthew Wade. No run. 175 for 3. Always a discussion around the lounge, Jake, well, particularly in my house at this stage, is what is the strategy here? Is it all out, or does one of these guys have to pick your man and feed him the strike?
No, I think it's all out. I think both are going. That's why I'm surprised with that ball there with Neesham, just trying to almost run it to third man when previously he's just been swinging for the boundary.
Richardson up again. This time he tries to swing. It's a slower ball, and he's just gone way too early, Neesham, and it's through to Wade again. Last set off stump, no run. 175 for 3. Couple of dots to start the 17th over.
Yeah, another slower ball, and I think the first one was as well. And I think Richardson, as well as Sams, before he got hit for those 2 sixes to finish the over, had bowled some pretty good slower balls where they just take the pace off. And while I think this is a good wicket, it is a good wicket, I think it's just holding a wee bit, potentially on the dry side. So a slower ball holds up, it's hard to get your timing off a slow wicket.
Neesham waits again for Richardson. Bowls a faster one, and he swatted that one, and he swatted it over the long on boundary for 6. Picked this one this time, Neesham. It was short. He sat back and he swung, as we've seen him swings in this innings already. His 4th 6 in 25 runs off 7 deliveries. New Zealand to 181 for 3.
And that's wide too. He's done well to get it there. I mean, normally a pull shot you see over square leg or mid-wicket, that's gone straight over Stoinis at long on. And it was back to on pace by Richardson, so it was back into the mid-130s and probably gave Neesham the pace that he could turn back around and get the middle of the bat.
181 for 3. Richardson bowls to Neesham. Fuller. This time he tries to dig it out. Yorker length outside off stump. Neesham plays it up to Aaron Finch at sort of a wideish mid-off, and there's a single. 182 for 3.
Pretty good stuff, though. I mean, 4 balls, 7 runs. You'd take that when the opposition's scoring at the rate New Zealand is at the moment. So I think Richardson's pretty happy with his work so far. Just got to make sure he nails these last 2 balls to finish a good over. I mean, if this goes bang, bang New Zealand's way, then suddenly 7 off could be 15 off or more with a couple of boundaries. So got to ensure that these last 2 balls are on the money, or else it just carries on for New Zealand.
If you're just joining us, Martin Guptill dismissed about 10 or 15 minutes ago for 97. Man under pressure, came out to the University Oval today and hit it to all parts. Terrific innings. Kane Williamson 53. They have been the mainstay of this New Zealand innings so far. Here's Richardson, bowls to Phillips. Phillips swings over mid-wicket, and it's gone miles high into the embankment, almost out of the ground. 6 runs. Glenn Phillips, 188 for 3 New Zealand.
Yeah, well, just the baseball continues, doesn't it? I mean, that's just a decent back of the length ball. in the 135 that just gets deposited. We're just looking at his stance is over off stump to start with, so he's looking for that leg side. He's trying to open it up, and he just swings through. Nice little press forward, but then he's just a nice swing of the bat, middle of the bat, and it goes 75, 80 metres away.
Phillips waits again for Richardson, tries to repeat it. It's a bit slower this time from Richardson, and ends up taking Phillips on the body, spits out on the leg side, and they trot through for a leg by. 189 for 3. Phillips is 8, Neesham is 26, and that is the end of the 17th over here of the New Zealand innings. Live from the University Oval in Dunedin. 3 overs to bat, 189 for 3 the score. Neesham 26, Phillips 8.
Another look at that 6 by Phillips before, just purely a length ball that he just gets on top of the bounce and knocks it over mid-wicket. And some of the time seeing that, Tom, I'm just glad I have retired. Because that's all I tried to do was bowl back of a length, and nowadays if I played, man, I'd go the distance.
They've certainly gone the distance in this innings. Guptill went the distance 8 times in his innings of 97. Williamson 3 times, and Neesham in his very brief stay 4 times. So the crowd has been peppered by flying missiles all afternoon.
Well, I think what it shows is where batting's got to, and let's be honest, 2020 cricket is an entertainment game. It's for the batters, and you see a lot of rules, and not only 2020 cricket but also 50 over cricket, they are in favour of batting, but that's what the crowd wants to see. You know, look, they are happy by seeing the ball fly into the boundary, and they want to see a close game. So we need Australia, for the sake of the match, to be doing a similar sort of job. But you know, it just shows that batting has gone to another level, and bowling with all the slow balls, the variations, the Yorkers, the bouncers, slow balls, all of that stuff, batting is still winning the race when it comes to T20 cricket.
Jai Richardson to continue from the stadium end. It's wide. This time Phillips tries to slash it through that offside, but he can't make any contact through to Wade. No run. 189 for 3.
Was back to a standard field as well at the death. We've seen a couple of funky fields so far by the Australians with, say, third man up or a dominant leg or offside, but it seems like it's gone back to quote-unquote normal with a deep square, long on, long off cover and a third man. So a more normal sort of bowling now by Richardson.
There's the Phillips, full and wide. This one's much wider. Phillips can't catch up with it. In fact, it's wide, so he'll have to do that one again. 190 for 3. Jai Richardson, no wicket for 34 from 3.1.
17 balls left, so absolutely runnable. 207. I'd probably add another at least 10 plus on that. We're now suddenly looking at 220 plus, which will be amazing effort by the New Zealand side.
Phillips sets up again, deep in the crease as Richardson comes in. It's wide again, and this time it's deemed a legal delivery. Looked a bit wide. Phillips looks a bit confused, glances back at the umpire. No run. 190 for 3.
Just needs to be a bit careful with that. Almost feigning taking a guard, putting his bat there. Obviously not taking a guard because he's almost putting it where he thought the ball went past, which was outside the wide marker that the umpires can use. You do have to be careful by showing that sort of dissent or disrespect.
Phillips waits again. This time he tries to lap, but he bowled. Walked across his wickets, did Glenn Phillips. Tried to lap it down fine, and he missed it. And Richardson hits, and so Glenn Phillips, short and sweet from him at the University Oval this afternoon. He's been clean bowled by Richardson for 8, and New Zealand lose their 4th wicket at 190.
That's just good bowling. That's good bowling by Richardson, going wide on the first 3, even though one went wide, full wide. He saw Phillips going down early, or maybe it was just always the plan to zero in at the stumps, but clipping the base of leg stump as Phillips went across. Good pace too, just under 140 k an hour, and Richardson showing why he went for 7 figures in the IPL auction the other night.
Yeah, terrific bowling. Showed glimpses in Christchurch on Monday evening of his pedigree. He is a terrific bowler, Jai Richardson, and just then a little bit of foxing with Glenn Phillips at the start of the over, and then when he saw him take a little trot across his stumps, he fired it in full and straight, and it cleaned out his leg stump. 190 for 4, and the hero from Monday evening has made his way out to the middle. Devon Conway, slightly different role for him in this instance, but we've seen him do a few roles and do them well.
Well, if he continues his streak of 50 over scores in this innings, we are in fireworks with
Strap
only
yourselves in if you're at home.
15 balls left. He's coming off, what was it? The stat was five 50s in a row. Handful of 90 not outs thrown in there as well. So, as you say, came in at 4 the other night, coming in today at 6. Different role. Very different role, in fact. I mean, basically, he's got a license to swing from this ball, and no one's going to think anything of it. But knowing the way he's going, looking forward to it.
190 for 4. Richardson comes into Conway. First ball, and Conway manages to get back the ball and squirts it down to third man. Mitch Marsh is down there, and he cuts it off at full length. And it's a single for Conway. He's off the mark. 191 for 4.
But even that there, that shows, although let's have a look at it's the replay of Phillips to Smith. Has gone a long way. I think was anticipating that very wide line. So he'd actually taken his body a long, long way outside the off stump. Completely exposed to 3 stumps and hitting leg stump. But even that shot there by Conway shows the form he's in. Not a bad wide Yorker by Richardson, still able to slash it down to third man, which are probably another couple of metres to Mitch Marsh's left as a boundary.
He had to move. Didn't move much, Marsh, but he had to get down to clean it up. 191 for 4. Neesham on strike now to Richardson. Bowls, and it's down leg side. He just flicks it square, and the dive across, and he managed to hit it into the fence. It's gone to for 4. Neesham flicked it leg side-ish, and the man out at deep square thought he was there, just couldn't drag it in, and it trickled into the boundary for 4. 195 for 4.
He is timing the ball so well at the moment, Neesham. He played a similar shot, didn't he, in Christchurch, where that one was a full toss, to be fair. But it's outside off, and he's just flicking it with his wrist. I remember in Christchurch there was a half volley he did similar. Well, he played similarly, but that one there, that's just beautiful timing and wrist work.
Waits again for Richardson. Fuller and wider, and he just tries to sort of scoop it up to Neesham, but he doesn't make any contact. It is through to the wicketkeeper Wade, and that ends the 18th over of the New Zealand innings. 195 for 4. Neesham is 30. Conway is 1. The hero so far of this New Zealand innings. Martin Guptill, 97. Kane Williamson, 53. The contributions of note so far. 2 overs to go. 12 legitimate deliveries. 1 a ball takes you well beyond 200, but they'll be looking 220, 225 here, I would have thought, Jake.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and especially if Neesham continues. I mean, 30 off 10 already. So what's that striking at? Let's work that one out. 300. Not hard. So if he continues that, I mean, that's the New Zealand side are looking definitely around that 220 mark. And we know what Conway can do. I mean, even though he's only just come to the wicket, he has the ability to score the whole way round. So whichever line, length, pace Australia want to throw it down at, Conway's got the shots to try and handle it.
Currently going at 10.83, and that would take them to 217 if they continued that. But just get the feeling they wouldn't mind maybe a couple of overs of 12 or 14 here. And that would really put the pressure on Australia, of course, who already trail in the 5-game series after losing game 1. And to ask them to get 220, 230 in game 2, they're a talented outfit. It'll take some getting. They're certainly up for it. They're an Australian cricket team. Of course they'll be up for it. 195 for 4 is the score. We're starting the 19th over, and it's Kane Richardson bowling to Conway, who slashes it through point out to the man on the boundary. And that's just 1. New Zealand 196 for 4. Conway 2. Neesham on strike on 30.
Another slower ball too by Richardson. I reckon we'll see at least 3, maybe 4 slower balls by Richardson this over. His current figure's 1 for 40 off 3.1. It's games like this as a medium pacer. When you get throwing the ball at the end, you've already gone for a few. You hope you bowl a good over for the team's sake. You also hope you bowl a good over so you're not going for 50 plus in your 4 overs.
Here's Richardson again, right arm over to Neesham. It's wide, and he tries to drive, but it's too wide. And so he'll have to bowl it again. 197 for 4. Neesham 30, Conway 2.
It's a high-risk strategy by the Australians the last maybe 3 or 4 overs. Risk-reward, they've targeted that wide line. That's going too wide. That's a genuine wide. Good call, umpire Chris Gaffney. But they've targeted the wide line. It's come off a couple of times, especially in Jai Richardson's last over. But that one there, when you get it slightly wrong, a wide, easy run, replay the ball.
Richardson again, bowls to Neesham. Full, drives it back, and he's dropped. Caught and bowl chance for Kane Richardson. He can't hold on. Throws his head back. It's a dot ball, so that's the only consolation. Chance goes begging. 197 for 4.
Did well, actually. Got both I mean, in his follow-throughs, a lot of people who haven't had a sharp caught and bowl chance smoke back at them after they've run in from 20 metres won't understand, but it's a very hard thing to do, to control your body, your head, your eyes, and get your balance to take it, but he did well there to even get both hands to it.
Richardson bowls to Neesham, and Neesham again tries to swap this one down to long on. Coming forward is Stoinis, and it's just one run. It was short, and it's that pull shot that we saw Neesham play a couple of overs ago that went all the way over the boundary. This time, no timing. One for him, he's 31, Conway is 2. 198 for 4 New Zealand. We're in the 19th over.
Just the line was a bit tighter on Neesham, then he couldn't extend his arms out into the shot to find the middle of the bat. Cramped him up almost, that's why, and probably in the end, thankfully for him, it didn't go very far, just to the 30-metre circle where mid-on is. See a slight field change here with mid-on coming up, mid-wicket, deep backward square, still back on the boundary, offside long off, cover, third man. So might be targeting back of a length still and slower balls against Conway.
Here's Richardson up past the umpire, bowls to Conway, it's short, and Conway plays it down to third man, player coming in and takes the catch, and I think it's Zampa. Conway is gone, didn't really time it, and coming in off the boundary was Adam Zampa, the third man boundary, takes the catch, and so the hero from Christchurch, only just the 2 today, he's gone, caught Zampa, bowled Richardson for 2, and the Black Caps with 8 deliveries remaining in their innings, 198 for 5.
Yeah, just a bit wide. I wonder if Conway almost didn't know what was coming, which sounds weird. You never know what the bowler's really going to bowl, but the way the field was, maybe didn't quite understand where the delivery was going to go, but it was that back of length, it was a hard length, but the line of it made him reach for it, took one hand off and just sliced it on down to deep third man, who actually took a pretty good running catch in the end, Adam Zampa.
Well, he couldn't afford to be flat-footed there, Zampa, which could have forgiven him if he had been a little bit, just the way the ball's been flying around the boundary so far this afternoon, but he was on the move, came forward, took the catch, and Conway's brief stay ends at 2. 198 for 5. Mitch Santner is the new batsman.
Conway probably forgot how to get out, you know, how he's supposed to walk off. Now you go that way, you take your gloves off, you do this, you do that, because he's been knocked out so many times lately.
So Mitch Santner's come out, playing his 50th T20 for New Zealand this afternoon, which is a milestone. His little presentation before the game in the New Zealand team huddle to mark that. For a young guy, Santner is racking up the appearances, but it's Neesham on strike. Full toss this time from Richardson, smashed down to long on the bounce to Stoinis, and it's just 1 for Neesham. Doesn't look dead thrilled about it either. 199 for 5. Neesham 32.
Well, it shows how important Santner is to this white ball team. T20 and one-day cricket for New Zealand, a very accurate, very skillful left-arm orthodox spinner who can finish the game well, and that's what New Zealand need from him now. Things have just stagnated a wee bit in the last 2 or 3 overs with wickets falling, which can always help towards the death, and a lack of boundaries really, but still a healthy total, 1 short of the 200, don't get me wrong.
Just the 4 runs so far from the 19th over. Last ball coming here from Richardson. Bowls to Santner. Santner swings high. It's gone very high. Coming in off the boundary as Maxwell takes the catch. And Mitch Santner is out. Caught by Maxwell for a duck, and it's 199 for 6.
It's all good though, Santner. I mean, at this stage, when you've only got a handful of balls left, you do have to swing. It's either rocks or diamonds, really, isn't it? I mean, that gets out the screws. If that's 2 inches higher off his bat and it's out of the middle of his bat, it's 6 runs and we're all happy. Doesn't quite get it, pulls it round to mid-wicket. Maxwell doesn't drop many. Very, very good outfielder. Santner, golden duck.
Not the way he would have been hoping to celebrate his 50th with the bat. He'll have an opportunity, of course, in the field. 199 for 6 is the score. 19 overs have been completed here at the University Oval in Dunedin. So 1 more for the Black Caps to add to this impressive score so far. Sure, they would have taken 200 at the toss when they were asked to bat first again by Aaron Finch.
Well, absolutely, they would have taken 200. They probably would have taken 190, 180 at the toss, but I think there'd still be a little bit of slight disappointment in the dressing room that they're not completely finishing it off how they would have liked. And we talked about when we came together after the 15th over, Tom, around that 220 mark, I think we were. So you know, if they can still get there. If Nation gets a couple out of the middle of the bat, they will get there. But that word stagnating, it just kind of has just ground to a halt. And I think that's partly due to losing wickets, and that is obviously due to the Australians bowling a little bit better and bowling to their field.
Kane Richardson in that previous over, he ended up with figures of 3 for 43. I think we were talking about him trying not to concede 50. Well, he certainly didn't concede 50.
Well, that means he went for 4 off that over then, which is a great effort.
A couple of wickets and 4 runs off the 19th over. Exactly what Aaron Finch, the Australian captain, would have been keen to see. Just a little break in play while a device is removed from the ground. 199 for 6. And it is Jimmy Neesham who is going to face up to Daniel Sams, the left armer, coming round the wicket. Bowls full and wide to Neesham, and it's a wide. Sams is not thrilled. He thinks he hit the line, but I think you'll find that was wide.
Yeah, I felt it was wide, but we'll wait and see the replay. But obviously the bowler's always going to be unhappy with a tight call. But again, I was talking before about a batter's game. The umpire always tends to err on the side of the batters.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a replay. That's definitely wide, isn't it?
Although when it went past the batter because of the angle, I don't know. Maybe it's because I did a bit of both.
The New Zealand 200 is up. Sams in again. Bowls to Neesham, who scoops it up and all the way down to the third man boundary for 6. Unconventional, but we see that in the T20 game. Another 6 for Jimmy Neesham. And Sams will not be thrilled. 206 for 6, Neesham 38.
So Tom Bartlett's right. That is a scoop. But for those thinking it's a scoop over fine leg, you are wrong. That's the other side of the wicket. He's almost gone down to scoop over fine leg, but because of the line was way outside his off, he's actually just decided to flick it over third man from a similar stance, from a similar position, and got it beautifully.
The third man
just opened the face, didn't he, really?
He did. Controlled it beautifully, Neesham. 206 for 6. He's 38. Here's Sams again, full, and Neesham smashes it down to long off, and he will get 1. They'll look for a second, but there isn't one. 207 for 6.
I think Southey down, and we only know one way. Southey only knows one way to play.
He's got 4 balls to try and make an impact with the bat. Tim Southey. He didn't get a bat in Christchurch, but as you say, Jake, he will probably close his eyes and swing.
Yeah, he's done that his whole career, so quite changed. But I've got to be extra nice to Tim. In the Pakistan test at Christchurch, I happen to say that as you get older, your pace drops, and I don't think he's spoken to me since. Someone passed that information on. I think it might have been Henry Nichols in an MRI scanner. And Tim still walks past me and says that I am dead to him.
Oh, dear.
So Tim, I hope you go so well today.
He's on strike. Here's Sams round the wicket to Southey. Southey swings past the bowler down the ground, and it's straight. Coming across from long on is Agar, but they get back for 2. Good running. So 2 to Southey. He's off the mark, and the New Zealand score 209 for 6. 3 deliveries remaining.
Neesham's played well though, hasn't he? I mean, 3 sixes off your first 3 balls gives you that little bit of a kick-start to your innings, but even since then, he's managed to keep things ticking over with wickets falling at the other end.
Southey waits for Sams again. This time it's fuller and wider, and he gets his bat to it, Southey. He's got it over backward point, and he's going to get 4. Didn't quite hit it exactly where he was probably meaning to, but he got plenty of bat on it, and Maxwell coming across couldn't cut it off. So a boundary to Southey. He's 6, and New Zealand 213 for 6 with 2 balls remaining.
Well, they've got that field they have employed a lot, although it's changing now, but previously they had third man up, a very backward point, and then a backward point all in the ring. So they had the cover on the boundary and a long off. They're just changing that now with the cover fielder going more towards point. But Sams had to have his line so right previously.
Sams bowls to Southey again. This time he's gone through. They've gone to take a bye. Sams has collected it, and Southey has run out. It was wide. Southey was dancing around on the pitch, went through to Wade. Through came Neesham, and Southey had too much work to do to get down to the other end. He's been run out for 6, and New Zealand lose their 7th wicket at 213. Just the 1 ball left in the 20th over.
Actually, extremely well done by Sams there. I mean, Wade had a good throw at it. Wade does take his right glove off towards the end of the innings so he can get a good throw with just his inners on. But Sams, who had actually slipped trying to gather it, did well in the end, controlled it, just a little underarm flick from a metre away and see how easily out. But well done, 6 off 3. You'll take that at this stage of the innings.
Kyle Jamieson has made his way out to the middle to do some running for Jimmy Neesham. You assume, unless this is a wide and they take a bye, he's not going to require all that padding and bat. But of course, he's out there. 213 for 7. Terrific innings so far, this from New Zealand. Martin Guptill, 97. Caught on the boundary, going for the 100. Kane Williamson, 53. Jimmy Neesham promoted up the order, 39 not out from 15 deliveries, and he is going to face the last ball of the New Zealand innings. 213 for 7. Here's Sams round the wicket to Neesham. He swings it away. Down fine leg for 4. Oh, it's gone for 6. Neesham wants another delivery. He's not going to get one, I don't think, but they've gone for 6. 219 for 7.
So I think that's close. And Neesham is not going anywhere. He is standing there waiting, because I agree. I think it's touch and go at least.
He got hold of it. He's still sticking around. Is Neesham? It's up, certainly up as we look on the replay.
I think that's a no ball. I think any other delivery of an innings, they're staying there. But the fact that most of the Australians are already off the field or getting close to, I think the umps have just gone with it. But that's above waist height for mine.
Well, he's collected it, Neesham, and he sent it way over fine leg out of the ground. That's how big it was. A huge finish, an appropriate finish to the New Zealand innings. He's still not happy, Jimmy Neesham. He shouldn't be. The New Zealand team will be absolutely delighted. Remember, Aaron Finch won the toss. He asked New Zealand to bat, and they have posted 219 runs for the loss of 7 wickets. The scorecard, well, it's the day of Martin Guptill. He's been under immense pressure at the top of that New Zealand innings, but did he respond? 97, cruelly denied a century, caught on the long-on boundary. Kane Williamson, terrific partnership between Guptill and Williamson. Williamson eventually dismissed for 53. Neesham ends 45 not out. Kyle Jamieson, not out. The best of the Australian bowlers, Kane Richardson, 4 overs, 3 for 43. So at the end of the first innings, it is the Black Caps who have, well, done the job on Australia again. 219 for 7. So 220 is the target. And if you're just joining us, Martin Guptill, the hero for New Zealand in that innings, with 97. Right, we'll take some news headlines and we'll be back with the second innings in just less than 10 minutes.
Just because it's radio doesn't mean you shouldn't look good. The Magic Talk commentary team are proudly dressed by Canterbury of New Zealand. Proudly New Zealand established in 1904.
It's Magic Drive with lipospheric vitamin C, supporting healing and recovery after surgery.
News from News Hub, New Zealand's #1 news source.
A real estate agent and 3 others have been tested after a COVID-positive household in Auckland held a private home viewing. Mel Logan has the latest.
The home viewing on Saturday lasted half an hour. The agent and the trio who attended are now awaiting their results. 3 in the household of 6 were confirmed with COVID-19 early this week, taking the cluster to 11. Since the outbreak, there have been more than 53,000 community tests in the northern region.
No new COVID-19 cases in the community today, 3 at the border. One of those in managed isolation is historical. The rift between Simon Bridges and the police commissioner isn't going away. The pair clashed in select committee this morning over the direction in which police are going. The Greens are accusing the Transport Agency of continuing with projects that are not climate friendly. At a select committee, the NZTA says its budgets are mostly committed, so it won't be able to reduce carbon emissions over the next 3 or more years. And the public can now have a say on a proposed Bay of Islands marine mammal sanctuary. The government wants feedback on the idea to help address the rapid decline of bottlenose dolphins. And in the cricket, Martin Guptill fell agonisingly short of a T20 century in Dunedin, but he has fired the Black Caps towards a good total against the Aussies, batting first in the second match of the series. Guptill out for 97. Kane Williamson also made a half century. Jimmy Neesham cut loose with a barrage of 6s. Neesham finishing up on 45, and New Zealand 219 for 7. A huge chase coming up for the Aussies to square the series. Cricket with GJ Gardner-Holmes, get the best of both worlds. We are back at the cricket shortly.
Magic Talk Auckland, accurate traffic.
Helensville A&P show this Saturday.
Fine spells in for a low of 17 tonight, and getting out of Auckland City right now on the southern motorway. It's just over 40 minutes out to Manukau, just over 50 to Drury. Slow patches to East Tamaki Road. The southwestern is southbound, busy in patches after Walmsley Road due to an earlier truck breakdown and now cleared. Pretty good though if you're coming citybound. And the northwestern, you've got traffic at Rosebank Road to Te Ata 2.
Helensville show this Saturday, 40 minutes from the CBD, helensville.co.nz.
It's spider season, and if they've made a mess at your place, pick up Miss Muffet's Revenge from Wet and Forget for 6 months control of those pesky spiders.
TradeDepot.co.nz. Shop online now, only at Trade Depot for massive home show expo deals on aircon, bathrooms, kitchen and laundry appliances. Vented dryers from just $249, condenser dryers from $599, heat pump dryers from $799, washing machines from $329. Shop online now for massive expo deals only at Trade Depot or visit the showroom in Otihanga. Delivery anywhere in Auckland.
TradeDepot.co.nz. When it comes to selling Nissan, is EBIT better? You bet.
Navara ran out on now. G'day, Ross from EBIT Pukekohe. This has told us the new 2021 Navaras are on their way. So we're clearing out everything in the current Navara range at spectacular prices. Stock is limited, so get in quick. Plus you can still get a great future value deal on a new Duke, Qashqai and the X-Trail range. T's and C's apply. Connects Nissan, come see the people who put people first, EBIT Pukekohe.
Thinking Nissan? Think EBIT Pukekohe. Mark of excellence.
You could never have imagined the difference they'd make to your life, the joy they'd bring, and the challenges. You'd do anything for them, even when you're no longer around. So show your love with AA Life Cover from New Zealand's most trusted life insurance brand. Cover starts from as little as $20 a month. Plus, you'll get 20% cash back on your first year's premium for a limited time. Get a quote in just minutes at aa.co.nz/cashback. T's and C's apply.
We've got red hot specials on now at Fresh Choice, like fresh prime beef mince for a low $9 a kilo. Tip Top ice cream only $4.50, and Pascal confectionery bags just $1.80. Fresh Choice red hot specials in Sunday. Sizes and limits apply.
Nice work, Auckland. You've been using water wisely. Our region is still in the grip of a water shortage, so stick to your 4-minute showers and keep water use to a minimum when you're outdoors. Restrictions are still in place, which means you can use a handheld hose as long as it's fitted with a trigger nozzle. But remember, sprinklers are off limits at home. For more information on the water restrictions, go to watercare.co.nz.
What has your summer sounded like? Mum, come kick the ball with me. Dad, come throw this. Honey, stop.
Oh, so hot.
What could next summer sound like with an Aquatechnics pool?
Mum,
watch me do a handstand. Wow.
Hey, son, watch me do this bomb.
Aquatechnics have the largest range of pools and spas in New Zealand. Right now, there's huge savings on a range of swimming pools, so buy now and stay cool next summer. Try before you buy with their 9 display pools at the Aquatechnics showroom or visit aquatechnics.co.nz.
Everybody, head on out and do your stuff.
Our Burt Sutcliffe and Evelyn Page villages are open to the public on Saturday 26th and Sunday 27th of February. If you've considered making the move to a Ryman village, our open days are a great opportunity to come in for a look around and see how we're pioneering a new way of living. View our show homes, village centre and care centre with tours running between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. with the presentation at 11 a.m. For more information, search Ryman Auckland.
Incy Wincy or Hairy and Scary, Miss Muffet's Revenge will send spiders packing. Only available from Wet and Forget stores nationwide or at wetandforget.co.nz.
Lipospheric vitamin C, the #1 selling vitamin C in pharmacies by far.
The Magic Talk Summer of Cricket, brought to you from inside the Resine commentary box. Resine Colour Shops for expert paint and colour advice. The Black Caps versus Australia, live from the University Oval in Dunedin on your new home for live cricket. Magic Talk.
Welcome back to University Oval in Dunedin, where the Black Caps have set Australia a massive target. Sent into bat by the Australian captain Aaron Finch, the New Zealand has set 219 for 7, thanks to 97 from 50 by Martin Guptill. Kane Williamson, 53 off 35, and then one heck of a cameo too from James Neesham, 45 off 16. He hit his first 3 deliveries for 6, and this big crowd that has come in here on a lovely day in Dunedin, a great afternoon, have seen some fireworks from the New Zealand batsmen. Now it is the turn of the Australians. If they want to level this series up, they're going to have to go big and they're going to have to go early. Aaron Finch and Matthew Wade walking out to the middle. The Black Caps are out there. I'm Rikki Swannell. I'm joined by former Black Cap and local Mark Craig. How do the Australians approach this?
Yeah, well, I think they're going to have to look to go hammer down pretty hard pretty early. I think that power play is crucially important for them. But on the flip side, what's going to be very interesting to see is if Timmy and Trent can get the ball to swing again. And we saw the other night that the Aussies didn't manage to get the ball to swing, and these two did, and that was the difference up front, managed to knock 2 or 3 of them over early.
Yeah, Australia missed out at the top, really. Finch went for just the one, or gone for one. Matthew Wade ended up with 12. Philippi on debut, he scored 2, and it was really Mitch Marsh who was the only real stronghold for the Australians. 45 he made. So pressure on the top order of Australia, like there was on New Zealand. They've shown that this is a good batting wicket, though, New Zealand.
Yeah, I think it comes back to a point I made earlier in the day about, I think what sets the Black Caps apart at the moment is their ability to adapt to situations, and they've seen what this wicket's like, and I don't feel that the Australians probably hit the right line of length or didn't quite understand how to go about bowling on these smaller boundaries, where they're used to bowling to 80-metre boundaries and bowling the slower balls and getting them hit to big square boundaries, and that's not the case here. So interesting to see how this bowling unit goes about their work today.
New Zealand team that is full of confidence at the moment. They've only lost 1 match so far this summer. That was the 3rd T20 against Pakistan. They are 1-0 up in this series. Have never lost in Dunedin as well. It's Tim Southee at the top of his mark. He's coming from the Forsyth Bar Stadium end of University Oval to bowling now to Matthew Wade, who's right on the money early on. Southee, good first delivery. Nothing Wade can do with that. Just pushes forward, no run.
That ball swung, so here we go. It'll be interesting to see how the Aussies attack this now.
Mark Craig is looking basically straight down this wicket as Tim Southee comes towards. He's got a slip in place in the form of Martin Guptill. Good pair of hands he's got as well. Matthew Wade, the left-hander, of course, too. It's Southee coming in, right arm bowling too. Oh, Wade already looked to get a bit tricky and almost got himself in all sorts there. He was trying to sort of scoop it away onto the leg side and came a bit unstuck, but no harm done.
It's interesting that we saw that the other night as well. As soon as the ball started to shape, Wade used to, as opposed to trying to play more conventional shots, was actually trying to step inside it and lap it. So that's obviously his answer to the ball swinging early from Timmy.
Wade, he's had 12 in the first match at Hagley Oval. It was a battle too. He got hit. Southee bowls to Wade, and he has got this one away. He's raced away towards the boundary. Good fielding though, out in the deep. Scooted along the ground square, very square, and Australia off the mark in the chase. 1 for none.
Interesting to see how aggressive Kane goes here to the right-hander of Finch and look to load up that slip cordon, and I'd say look to get Neesham jumping into second slip. Looks like it. No, he's actually going to backward point or point. So just the one slip. We're interested to see how Finchy plays this.
Guptill is the man in that slip. Sodhi is just dropping back here under a fine leg, or getting around a little. They're coming in up off the boundary, manoeuvring his field around. Is Kane Williamson, as Southee is in, bowling to the Australian captain Aaron Finch. Has just a big old swing and a miss, and it's gone through to Seifert, and they liked that. The New Zealanders all in a row. On the offside, Williamson, mid-off centre, the covers, Neesham, point, backward point. Devon Conway, Martin Guptill, hands on hips. What a day out he's had. Tim Seifert, the keeper, of course, has been looking lively. The athletic New Zealand keeper missed out with the bat today. New Zealand were very good in the field at Hagley Oval. And Southee continues, 5th ball of this, the opening over, and it's Southee to Finch. Finch trying to get down the ground. He's on the pads, he's come a long way forward. Really good start from Tim Southee.
Yep, showing his class straight away here, straight on the money with line of length and shaping the ball away from Aaron Finch here, the Australian captain. So lovely start by Tim, and we've come to see that over a number of years now with Tim and Trent. They often set the tone from the get-go, and it's so important, I think, when you're in a game and there's a big run chase on, that they're obviously going to come out and throw caution to the wind and let rip. And if you can actually peg them back from the get-go, then the acid goes on them even more so.
So now, Ish Sodhi and Trent Bolt have both come up. And it'll be Sodhi who can't get down for this one. It might scoot away to the boundary. Nicely played, turned away, down towards the fine leg area for 4 by Aaron Finch, off the mark. At the fielder in and around there, but it was well played by the Aussie skipper. Australia 5 without loss after the opening over.
Yeah, it just looked to be the slightly wide of the crease ball from Timmy there, which didn't shape as much as he probably was hoping for, and just tickled off the hit for 4 runs.
It was Sodhi in the chase, but deep square was Glenn Phillips. Geez, quick around that boundary. Glenn Phillips, such a robust kind of looking character, busy, and he's a competitor. He took, Jacob Oram called it the catch of the summer. I think we're only 2 matches into the summer, to be fair, but it was a heck of a catch at Mount Maunganui in the second game. That was when he had a real day out with the bat as well. As I said, New Zealand did field really well. Trent Bolt coming on from our end, the northern end.
Yeah, pushing back up into the southerly here, so this will also help him to swing the ball hopefully away from Matthew Wade here.
So there's Trent Bolt to the left-hander Matthew Wade. Bolt coming in to bowl his first ball, and Wade has pulled that away. Square for 4, just behind square. Nicely played, rock back on it. Good start from Wade as well. No protection out there for Bolt. Australia 9 without loss. They're chasing 220 to win. New Zealand 219 for 7. Guptill 97, Williamson 53, Neesham 39 off 15. It's Trent Bolt who's bowling from the northern end of the University Oval, and this one there'll be no run as that ring field on the offside swarms around the Aussie batters.
Trent just struggling slightly just to find the right line and length early on, but again a bootload of experience, and I'm sure he'll be all over that in the next couple of balls.
New Zealand, of course, bringing an unchanged lineup into this match as the team that won at Hagley Oval. Bolt hits his crease and digs in, and it's called wide by the umpire. Short. Trudges back to his mark. Australia 10 without loss now. Wade 5, Finch 4. Of course, Matthew Wade dropped from the Test team, and that Test team, of course, hasn't ended up touring. And sitting back in Australia, most of those players, after the tour to South Africa was called off. An opportunity for Matthew Wade, who's on strike now to Bolt, and he's got hold of that one, and it'll be, it's gone, hit the boundary rope on the full. Just a massive swipe. The umpires are going to check. Look to me that's exactly what had happened. Landed square on that boundary rope. Good shot. There's a heave from Wade to the onside. Look at that, around that mid-wicket area, our corner. It was a 6.
Yeah, I think Matthew Wade's very much a one-pace hitter. It'll be interesting to see here if Bolty runs up and looks to run his fingers over it, and he's just changed his field and put the third man up and sent out a deep backward square. So I'm picking Bolty just to run his fingers over it slightly, take the pace off it, and look to get hit square.
Now they're still looking at it. No, it's only been called for. Yeah, it hit the old the Toblerones, that's what Simon Dool calls them, don't they? The advert around the gutter boards, I like to call them, around the rope area. Thought they'd hit on the full, but it was just 4. So 14 without loss. It's Wade on strike to Southie, and they're going to set off for a quick single. There'll be a chance. And the throw at the stumps here is a direct hit. Racing in, Neesham, shake of the head. They're going to have a look. He doesn't think he got there in time. Jimmy Neesham, it was a really good effort. He had 1.5 stumps to aim for as Wade raced through for the single. He's got hands on hips, looking up nervously to the big screen. Matthew Wade and Aaron Finch.
Yeah, I think again this is got the one wrong earlier before with Guptill, but I think this one here is actually a bit closer than the boys think.
Yeah, Neesham shake of the head, and he's going to be safe. How does Nation know he's facing away from the stumps? It must have just been the weight. He got it. It was a good effort. Finch was home, though.
Big Yetis have eyes in the back of their head.
You have to tell me why you call him Big Yeti now. It's not for public consumption, okay. Righto, 14 without loss. Wade is 9, Finch is 4. This is a difficult opening over for Trent Bolt. Right, carry on. Bolt waving around, and then we were talking about James Neesham. Good direct hit. Moves back. Point region. That's Sarah Finch, the Aussie skipper, on strike too. Trent Bolt steaming in from the northern end, turned away behind square into the onside player coming in off the boundary. They'll keep it to just the one, but this is a nice start from Australia. 2 gone, 16 without loss.
Yeah, it is, and it's interesting on a big run chase like that. They're automatically, even though it is a good start, they're actually still chasing the tail a wee bit here. So, and that's the beauty about, I think, what the batters have been able to do in that first innings and create scoreboard pressure, and they can't afford to not be up with that too many overs.
Excuse me, 1 to come still from Bolt, because it was the wide in the over, so the extra delivery, and they'll get a single off it, will Australia, and that will end the over this time around. So Australia's 17 without loss. Matthew Wade is 11 of 8 deliveries. Aaron Finch is 5 from 4. Yeah, I mean, the point you make is the required run rate is still 11.3, isn't it? So you are always chasing. You always got to accelerate when you've got a big total like this ahead of you.
Yeah, I think eliminating boundaries in this power play is key. And then we saw at the back end of the Black Caps innings there what wickets can do. You know, it's obviously a wicket that's quite hard to get in on and start hitting from the get-go, unless you're Nish, who had his first 3 balls for 6. So yeah, if you can limit your boundaries in these first 6 overs while the field's up, and obviously try and grab a couple of wickets as well, and that also really helps momentum as well.
Well, this is interesting from New Zealand. It's going to be Kyle Jamieson who will take the 3rd over from the stadium end, the Forsyth Bar end of the stadium at University Oval, and it's Jamieson bowling to Matthew Wade, who's just flicked that over the keeper's head. 1 bounce 4. Cleverly done. There's the invention, the ingenuity from Wade. And he goes through to 15. Australia 21 for none.
Again, Wade stepping inside and looking to flick it over the keeper's head here, using the extra bounce of Kyle Jamieson. I did notice that the other night that the Australians weren't afraid of the extra bounce that Jamieson has on offer coming from the height that he does. So it'll be interesting to see if he goes to change-ups, taking the pace off a little bit earlier, as opposed to his usual, probably banging it in back of a length.
Whopping no ball too, was it? Did you just see that? No. Must have looked at a different replay anyway. 21 for none. 4 off the first ball from Kyle Jamieson. Of course, he went for a bit the other night. Player who spent a lot of scrutiny on the young man. He's had an extraordinary summer and then went for an extraordinary figure in the IPL. It was a no ball. Free hit. And now Matthew Wade has walked away. And he's looking at the umpires and he's shaking his hand and wondering what's going on, as am I. I just hear Aaron Finch talking to one of the umpires. Well, carry on. And it's Jamieson to Wade, who has a big old swing and a miss, and that's a wide. Well, there's a bit going on. That was a wide, so 23 without loss, and this is a tricky start here for Kyle Jamieson.
Free hit.
And it is a free hit, yeah. So that will allow Matthew Wade. We've seen him with a little flick, some inventiveness, and it's Jamieson who's bowling now to Wade, who has a good swing. Oh, good response from Jamieson. Good effort.
The extra bounce there from Jamieson actually undoing Wade on that occasion. It looks to be this wicket slightly tennis bally bounce. Some balls are actually coming through not too bad, and he's just rolled his fingers slightly over that, which has probably created a bit more of the tennis ball bounce, as they say.
We've got a big problem because I'm getting text wanting to know why James Neesham is called the Big Yeti. So you're going to have to find a family-friendly way of explaining this, if indeed it is.
No, it's
okay.
definitely above board.
Oh, that's right.
I'm just thinking the best way how to explain it.
Okay, hold that thought as Kyle Jamieson comes into bowl to Matthew Wade. And Wade again has flicked this up. There's a player down there on the boundary. It's Bolt coming across. He won't be able to get to it, though. And it'll be another 6. Trent Bolt does the signalling. Matthew Wade, again, just a little flick over the shoulder. And Kyle Jamieson will have to find an answer here. Let's just flick that away. Down to Trent Bolt on the boundary. Made down a fine leg and just carried so quickly. Used all the bounce and the pace coming from Jamieson. There's a look at the ball as he starts his run in again to Matthew Wade bowling this time. And this time it's a much more orthodox shot, and it's a lovely punch drive through the covers, and it's going to get to the boundary before. Good fielding, good chase, smart and Guptill. Well, when he wasn't scoring runs earlier in the series, he was saving them in the field. Today he scored them and he saved a couple there.
Yeah, always been a pretty slick fielding unit, this Black Cap setup, and Gup's often the one that's leading that, so no surprises there. And I think in a game like this, it's those little things that will come down to the winning and losing of the game as well.
They were able to run 3, Australia, so they've gone through the 32 without loss. And Wade, almost in the blink of an eye, has gone 24 of 12, and there's a bit of a summit meeting at the top of Jamison's mark. Kane Williamson's wandered over, but also Tim Southey, just to have a chat to the young bowler. 10.7. Aaron Finch is having a chat at the non-strike. It's Wade at the non-strike, and there's Finch. Well, that's Ariel. Ariel in the mid-wicket area, but just away. And it's a little bit stiff and sore. Is that Glenn Phillips out there?
Yeah,
it is. He's got a bit of a ropey bat, hasn't he? And just landed a little bit awkwardly as he made an attempt to catch that one from Finch.
Cross seamer there from Jamieson, just sitting in the wicket again.
Here is Jamieson. Again, it's long over. This time unorthodox. It's gone behind square. It'll be just a single this time. And Finch goes through to 6.
So back to your earlier point there about Jimmy Neesham being called Yeti. Yeti's also sort of known as the abominable snowman, and obviously, as everyone can see, obviously not on radio, but he's not the most tan bloke and going around. And one summer we had quite a good summer down here in Dunedin. There's a fair bit of sun, and come back to this just after this ball.
Here comes Jamieson in to Wade. Wade on 24. There'll be no run there. Bring field around. It's Guptill who does the fielding.
Yeah, so we had a fairly good summer, and he decided it was a good idea to grow a bit of a beard and grow his hair out, and it sort of actually went a bit lighter, and just looked like the big fella, looked like the old Yeti, so it sort of stuck.
I feel like I need to stand up for him a little bit here as someone who is paler of skin. Australia 33 without loss. Jamison's long over comes to an end, but I can see it now because I was thinking he's not a particularly hairy bloke by the look of it. Anyway, good to know. The big Yeti, James Neesham, he's had a good day so far. 39 off 15. Really big innings for New Zealand. Massive blows in there. Australia chasing 220 to win, and it'll be Tim Southey changing ends. Boulders opening from the Forsyth Bar Stadium end. He's come down here to the northern end into a southerly, which seemed to be blowing just yet. 33 without loss. Matthew Wade is 24. Aaron Finch, the Aussie skipper, is 6 from 6. They made a nice start to this big chase, Australia. 11 runs per over required, and that's what they're going at the moment.
The key is, I think, that the wickets in hand piece. I think chasing in these big scores, if you've got wickets in hand, you can chase anything.
Here's Southey to Finch now, and Finch has slashed that away. He cut off on the boundary like Conway, not on the onside. Keep it to just a single. Nice bit of fielding. New Zealand have been sharp in that area all summer. And that brings Wade on strike, and he's been good touch so far, 24 from 13.
Yeah, very much so. He looks to be the aggressor early on of the two in this partnership as they look to establish this a little bit further.
Wade, of course, left-hander, right-hand combination, and it's Southey one arm over the wicket bowling to that man, Matthew Wade, and that is high. And Wade has looked and leans on his bat over to the square leg umpire, and he doesn't look particularly amused by it all, Matthew Wade. Oh, given that, wasn't it? It's the one for the over. Yeah, that signal going up. Trying a bit of variety, variation. Tim Southey, see Ish Sodhi just to his left, swinging the arms. We'll see him into the action later, but for now it's Southey bowling to Wade. Hasn't got hold of this. Williamson there, gone, taken. Taken by Kane Williamson. At mid-off, and Tim Southey comes back, and that's a good early blow. Wade was looking good, 24 off 14. Australia lose their first wicket, 34 for 1, in pursuit of 220 to win.
Yeah, looked to be the change up from Timmy there. Different load up. Looked to be maybe the three-quarter ball just going across him, and Wade obviously unfortunately picking out skipper Kane Williamson.
Well, Matthew Wade trudges off. He's disappointed because he had started well. We'd seen a few of the tricks in his toolbox that he'd used, but he goes for 24. Australia lose the first one, 34 for 1. Tim Southey with the breakthrough. Kane Williamson, nice comfortable catch for him. Josh Philippi, the young man, just made his debut at Hagley the other night on Monday night, and he got a couple. A big opportunity for him.
Yeah, really exciting player actually. Big raps on this young fella, and he's got pretty quick hands, so quite a wristy player. So hopefully Timmy can have his number quite early here. Be interesting though with that wicket breakthrough and two right-handers been in now, if they next over look to change things up with bringing on either Ish or Santner from the stadium in there. So
it's one of those things, isn't it? We've seen Josh Philippi in the BBL, the Big Bash, and how good he is, and you'd like to see him kind of from the cricketing perspective get going, but from the New Zealand perspective, perhaps not so much. It's Southey bowling now to Philippi, who just looks to run away. Always set off, tried to get a quick single, a little bit nervy. Certainly wasn't a run there, and particularly with Glenn Phillips patrolling around square. Short third man gets a little high five from Nation, fist bump. Over from Southey, a wicket from it, and just the one as well. The dot balls. Beige shirts crowding in around the Australian batsman, and the youngster Philippi on strike, and that's a good delivery. Right on that crease line.
Timmy's been on the money here today from the get-go. What's he through here? 1.5 overs. He's got 1 for 6, so he's really out in front leading the lads today, which is great to see.
A senior statesman, still running around like a spring chicken. Tim Southey, his team fought a big part of it for well over a decade now. And he's coming in from it in front of us in the northern end to Josh Philippi. Well, that's just spooned up back towards the bowler. Williamson might have a throw at the stumps here down the other end, but crisis averted for Australia. 35 for 1. We will take a quick break and come back with Tom Bartlett joining Mark Craig on Magic Talk and streaming everywhere on the Rover app.
The Magic Talk Summer of Cricket, brought to you from inside the Resine commentary box. Resine, quality paints and colours, perfect for your projects. The Black Caps versus Australia, live from the University Oval in Dunedin on your new home for live cricket. Magic Talk.
Welcome back to the University Oval in Dunedin. The Australian cricket team are chasing 220 to win Game 2 of the 5-game T20 series against the Black Caps, 35 for 1. Matthew Wade, the man dismissed in the innings caught by Williamson off the bowling of Southey for 24. Aaron Finch, the Aussie captain, is 7. And he's been joined by Josh Philippi, who is on strike to Kyle Jamieson, bowling from the stadium end. He bowls and Philippi swings and he top edges it, and it's going to go down to third man for 6. 41 for 1. Philippi 6, Finch is 7.
That continues I want to say the bad luck for Kyle Jamieson, who hasn't necessarily bowled terribly, but it's like the Australians know what's coming, and that's back of a length with good bounce from his height and his frame. and they're just setting themselves for a short ball. That was actually well bowled. That steepled on Philippi. Wasn't in control, but, well, third man was up anyway, but they went a long way back over the third man boundary for 6.
Well, the young man will feel better about playing at this level. Philippi waits for it, jams it again. It's short, and he's pushing it out onto the offside. Neesham comes in from point, and there is no run. 41 for 1. Philippi, Jacob Oram played a shot like that on Monday night, and it went straight up into the Christchurch evening sky, and he was caught. This time, it goes flying down. But there is a sense, perhaps, that they're picking the length of Jamison.
Yeah, and I thought that actually when it came off the bat, I thought it had gone straight up, and then you realise it's coming towards us here in the commentary box, or just to our right for 6. But he's a guy who wants to play his shots. Obviously, chasing 220, you need to. He's a guy who wants to get on with it straight away.
Waits again for Jamison. Flicks it beautifully over mid-wicket and over the boundary for 6 more. Philippi, just an indication of his class. It was just a little leg-sided, and he just flicked it over deep square leg for 6. 47 for 1. Philippi is 13.
And that's just timing. That there is not a leading edge. That's just all wrist work. Hardly even swung through it. Just flicked it and used the pace. Saw before the pace of Jamison was just under 139. So he's generating some good heat here. Some good pace, Jamison, but can't get in the right area. The good players like Philippi and Finch and Wade beforehand will just feast on it.
Big pressure on Kyle Jamison here. Comes in again, bowls to Philip, and again he's flicking it square. Takes off for the first one, and happy to just take the single with Glenn Phillips coming in to do the fielding. 48 for 1. Philippi 14, Finch 7.
And it goes to show how well Tim Southee has bowled as well. When you see the carnage at the other end of most of the other bowlers so far, Southee, who's obviously the senior statesman, 2 overs, 1 for 7, I think it was. Tom, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so, I mean, and 1 each, so he's bowling 1 over spells from each end. First over was definitely a lot fuller, trying to nick them off with a bit of swing. Next over, he's pulled the length back, and we're talking only a foot, maybe a metre difference, but able to adapt to the pitch, the ball getting a bit older, the batting just shows the quality that Tim Southee has.
Aaron Finch now on strike as Jamison comes up, and he also swings it onto the leg side. Phillips is going to cut it off at deep square leg, and there is just the 1 run for the Australian captain. 49 for 1, Australia. Finch to 8.
Another example, though, just sitting on the crease, Finch. Jamison's going to get bounce off any length. When you're pitching it or when you're delivering it from about 12 foot high, he's going to be bouncing no matter what. But at the moment, the Australians are just sitting and waiting on that back foot on the crease and hoping to go square of the wicket with a cross bat.
Josh Philippi rests again as Jamison bowls him. This time he just taps it on the offside, and Neesham comes in from that backward point position. And there is the 1 run to end the 5th over. Australia's 50s come up. They're doing it in 10s at the moment. They need to go at 11s. This target, 220. So far, so good for Australia in the chase. 50 for 1. Finch is 8. And Philippi is 15.
And all of a sudden, Philippi looks settled, doesn't he? Just, he gets off the mark with a near run out and then slices one over third man for 6. Next thing, he finds the middle of the bat, and all of a sudden, playing it late, the last one there, it might look innocuous, but if you cricket the way you just let the ball come to you, a la Kane Williamson a lot of the time, where you play it so late, you just drop it down to point or short third man, just with nice soft hands and run through. Immediately you see that Philippi's nice and comfortable at the crease.
Change in the bowling. Trent Bolt is going to continue from the northern end of University Oval. Figures of 1 over for 12. Left arm over to Philippi, and he tries to swing it on the leg side, but strikes him on the body and heads out to point, where Phillips does the fielding. There's no run. 50 for 1. Philippi 15, Finch 8. Anyone who watched the Big Bash during the summer know how dangerous and how good Josh Philippi is. Consistently good for the Sixers in the Big Bash, and I think there's an element of the New Zealand public that pretty keen to see him go, even at the expense perhaps of the Black Caps bowls. He's Bolt full toss, and he drives this one down to mid-off, and Williamson does a fielding on the ring, but they get a single.
Well, sorry to cut you off, Tom. That's poor from me. But I think no matter who you're supporting, you want to see good cricket. You want to see a good cricket game, and you want to see good cricket shots. You want to see good cricketers playing at their best. And someone like Philippi, we're going to see a lot of over the next probably 8, 10, 12 years. Hits well through square on the onside. We've already seen that with that drop kick. It also hits amazingly well over extra cover, and that's a hard shot to play, but seems to give himself room, and he's got beautiful hands to hit over that extra cover area.
Bolt comes into Finch. Finch this time plays it out square, takes off quickly for the first one, thinks about the second, but will not take on the arm of Kevin Conway out there on the boundary. So 1 run to Finch. He's 9. Philippe's 16, 52 for 1. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of him, aren't we? We're going to see a lot of Philippe whether we like it or not. So let's see him at his best.
Well, exactly, yeah. And he's a young guy. He's a wicket keeper as well, obviously, at the moment with Wade keeping. He's sort of been blocked there, but good enough to get in the team as a batsman only, batting at number 3. Normally an opener, but you bat where you can.
Back on strike to Bolt. This time it's full from Bolt, and Philippe digs it out, plays it up to Guptill coming across from the cover region. No run, 52 for 1.
Lovely, Boldy, lovely, Boldy. Keep going there, lads. Keep going there, boys.
Long offs back. A couple balls ago, just probably anticipating a fuller length from Bolt, maybe some slower balls, so deep square, long off back.
Philippe waits again for Bolt, shorter. He plays it out to mid-wicket. Santner comes across to do the fielding, but they take a single. 53 for 1. Philippe is 17.
You watch how they've approached this over. When you think the last over they were just sitting back and were ready to swing at anything from Jamieson, and now they're very circumspect against Bolt. You wonder if they're absolutely targeting Jamieson and thinking, hey, he's only played a couple of games, might have a hell of a lot of potential, but let's put him under pressure early in his career.
Bolt bowls to Finch. This time a bit of confusion. Plays it out. Bolt does his own fielding, can't collect it. Finch said yes. Philippe came a little bit, then they kind of almost met in the middle. In the end, there's no run, and that ends over number 6 of the Australian innings. 53 for 1. Philippe is 17, Finch is 9. The target 220.
And a great over too by Bolt, following on from an expensive one from Jamieson. The Black Caps needed that. Just 3 off that over.
And 2 overs for 15, Bolt. He had 1 over for 12. A very good response.
As we see some locals having fun in the crowd, I think, Tom, is that the best way to put it?
I think that might be an O-week kind of response to something. The best way to describe it. It's got a bit hot here at the University Oval. Somebody's got particularly hot.
Well, I hear they've now got this thing called Flow Week before O-week. I think that's the case. I heard about that. Just.
You are a source of all knowledge here, Jake. Flow Week, I don't think I've... This is a new one on me.
New one on me too, don't get me wrong. I wasn't searching. I wasn't sifting for scarfy information, but it was handed down to me. But I think it's almost like a flat or a social community orientation week, where the main orientation week is more of an academic focus, maybe, I'm not sure, but I think either way, half of their student loans are gone within the first fortnight.
All the money is blown in the first couple of weeks. The university, sensational university town, of course, or city, Dunedin, home to the University of Otago. The student flats are full, and they are ready for a big year.
And they are all here today, in full voice.
Yeah, they took a bit on board beforehand. Some of the pubs in town were pretty full at about midday. And they've come in. I've seen New Zealand scored 219, and Australia 53 for 1. Mitch Santner into the attack now. Goes around the wicket to Philippe, who flips this one down to long on for a single. Guptill down there does the fielding. Philippe is 18, Finch is 9, 54 for 1.
Key period of the game here was Santner, and then when Sodhi comes on later on in the innings, we heard Mark Craig talk about the battle of the spin beforehand, and I thought New Zealand dominated Agar and Zampa, so it's interesting to see who wins this battle the other way around now.
Santner again, a bit shorter this time, and Finch turns it into the leg side, and Jamieson runs around from that short fine leg position to do the fielding. 55 for 1. Philippe 18, Finch 10.
With these boundaries, they can easily find the 4s and 6s off the spin. We saw Guptill and Williamson hit straight really well. The ability to flatten it out and not let them get their hands through the ball, crucial.
Santner, Philippe, just a little shuffle down, flicks it over the top, coming across, and it's gone 1 bounce for 4. Now it's gone for 6. It's gone all the way. Lovely shot from Philippe. Just a little shuffle, and he lofts it over a wideish mid-off. All the way for 6. He goes to 24. Australia 61 for 1.
And that is one of the 2 areas where Philippe is amazing. Over extra cover, you're right. Shuffled down, but also to the leg to give himself the option over extra cover, and played it very well.
Terrific shot. Here's Santner. He tries to sweep. Swung across the line. Big appeal from Santner. No response from the umpire. Dot ball, 61 for 1.
don't think that's out. Just seen a replay. I think there's enough doubt, although they are going up.
Well, they've decided to review it. Santner was
Umpire, TV director, for the play review. The LBW, on-field decision is not out. Check the front foot. It's a fair delivery. If we could move to front on, please.
So 61 for 1. Santner was very convinced that it was out. He went up. Phillips was heading straight. Strikes the batsman.
If you could rock and roll that for me one more time there. Hard to tell if there's any bat or glove there. Roll that through. If you've got another angle, it would be great, please.
Jacob Oram's initial reaction was no. Just making sure there's no bats.
Okay, yeah, hard to tell from there. Could we go to ultra edge, please? Okay.
Just thinking height and line as well, Tom. It just feels doubtful.
Stand by, Sean. Just waiting on ultra edge. Ultra edge coming up now. Through. Flat line, roll it through, and into the forearm there. Thank you. Okay, there is no bat involved. If we go through to ball tracking, please, when ready. Ball tracking coming up now, Sean. Stand by.
Here's the ball tracker.
Pitching outside off, impact, umpire's call, wickets missing, repeat missing. Sean, you can stick it.
So that'll be not out. And your initial suspicion on that one, Jake, right on, bit high.
Well, I mean, nowadays, with it, if it's not out, it needs to be absolutely smashing the stumps. And you just knew it wasn't. So if there's any sort of doubt when it's not out, you've almost just got to let it go. And you thought line, but obviously hitting him on the chest down in the sweep was always going to be a height.
Santner again, this time Philippi tries to play it on the leg side, and he's managed to sort of spoon it over the top of wicket keeper, and after it goes Sodhi from sort of wideish third man, and there is one. I've come back for two, haven't they? So Philippi is 26, Australia is 63 for 1. New Zealand, of course, lost the review. They're down to 1. Santner has gone for 10 so far in the over. Last ball bowls to Philippi, and he goes forward and back and punches it down to long on for a single. That will end the 7th over of the Australian innings. The tourists are chasing 220 to win game 2, and they are 64 for 1 after 7 overs. Philippi 27, Aaron Finch 10.
Great start by the Australians, as much as that pains me to say that. But a very good start here, almost 10 and over. But the thing is here, and this is something to remember, if Australia were batting first, then you'd be worried extremely for a New Zealand supporter. But obviously chasing 220, which is a long way off. New Zealand still are ahead of this game. If they can squeeze and pick up a wicket or two, even with that strong Australian middle order, it'll just pile that pressure on. And even with the good start, Australia from this point on still need 12 runs and over. 2 runs a ball, basically, Tom.
Took 11 off the last over from Santner, but then prior to that, just a couple. Had a couple of in there, 7 overs so far. Just a couple of quiet overs, which they just cannot afford to do when the asking rate is hovering sort of at 11. Now it's 12. And Ish Sodhi's going to continue. Of course, took 4 wickets in game 1 in Christchurch. Here he is. He bowls to Philippi, who has it out to backward point. And there is no run, 64 for 1.
That Manhattan that was just brought up on the screen there, you see how well New Zealand did through the middle overs period, where we had a stretch of 8 overs of 12 runs or more in a row. 8 overs, and the top one was up at around 20 or 21. So stringing together those big overs are a crucial part of getting these big scores.
Sodhi goes again, this time to Philippi, and it's wide, and he's almost caught at point by Santner. I don't know if Santner got his hands under it. They've taken 1. They'll come back for 2. Nisham out on the square leg boundary. Does the fielding. It was very close. Santner's still down. They've taken 2. Philippi's gone to 29. Australia to 66 for 1. And might have just fallen short there, Jake.
Yeah, I reckon so. Just bound. I mean, even if he collected that, I think it's a half volley. Great dive, though, by Sandy. Very, very good in the inner ring. Quick across the ground.
Philippi again. Waits for Sodhi.
Oh, boy,
swing this one away, and squirts it out. And it dribbles down to long on where Trent Bolt does the fielding. Single for Philippi. He's 30, 67 for 1 Australia.
think Sodi got away with one there. That was a little fuller than previously and a little bit wider as well. And if Philippe's good through that cover and extra cover area, you don't want to feed that zone where he can just swing through, and he's just practicing it there. A cover drive and extending the bat through the ball. So Sodi needs to get back to that flatter trajectory as straight as he can.
Here's Sodi again, bowling to Finch. This one's wider, and Finch swings through covers. And it's going to be cut off by Neesham. Good fielding from James Neesham. And they come back for 2, though, Australia. 67 for 1. Finch is 10. And Philippe is 30. Tom Bartlett and Jacob Oram with you on Magic Talk, streaming everywhere on Rover. Coming to you live from the Resine commentary box. Resine Colour Shops for expert paint and colour advice. Shop local at Resine Colour Shops for quality paint, stains and advice. If you don't want to leave the cricket commentary, shop online at shop.resine.co.nz. Here's Sodi again, and it's wide this time. Finch thought about it and let it go, and it's wide. So 69 for 1.
Lovely ace.
Aaron Finch, he's been out there for 7.4 overs. And just the 12 from 12. It's a man who's battled in recent times. He's a quality cricketer. In goes Sodi again. He lets this one go, and it's fair delivery. So a dot ball, 70 for 1.
I think that might have been the flipper or something, Tom. Definitely something a bit different, a bit quicker. And we saw that a number of times in Christchurch. And Sodi did speak about that after the game. I wonder if that was one there, if we can get a replay of that, seeing how that came out of the hand. Definitely skidded on. I think took Finch by surprise, actually.
Last ball of the Sodi over. And Finch rocks back, and he's skied this one out to mid-wicket, coming in to take the catch. And the catch is taken by Phillips. And Aaron Finch is out. Sodi, it was shorter. Finch spotted it. He went for the shot. And out on the deep mid-wicket boundary was Glenn Phillips. Takes the catch, and the Australian captain is out. Australia 70 for 2.
Well bowled, Sodi. They were very good over, only 6 off up to that point. A bit of a scrambled seam. I think he'd gone back to a leg spinner there, but it was short, and I think that's a sign of where Aaron Finch might be at the moment, just with his confidence or his technique. Probably on the short side, he could have cut away through anywhere from point to extra cover. Decided to go with the pull shot, couldn't get in the middle of the bat. Good catch by Glenn Phillips running in from deep mid-wicket.
So Aaron Finch misses out for the Australians in their quest for 220, 70 for 2. New player is on his way out to the middle is Glenn Maxwell. Quick word from Jacob Oram, and we'll be back with Rikki Swannell on Magic Talk and streaming everywhere on the Rover app.
Well, I think this is a key partnership for obvious reasons with that run rate now up at 12.5, and it shows what can happen with a good over. Suddenly half a run is on the required run rate. But I picked Maxwell before the game as my player to watch, not because I necessarily wanted him to do well. I just expect him to do well. He's a T20 specialist. Someone who didn't fire in the first game at Christchurch, although a swinging ball under lights is probably not his favourite pastime. But shortish boundaries here, good wicket, big total to chase, nothing to lose. I expect big things from Maxwell.
Yeah, just the one run at Hagley Oval on Monday night. Glenn Maxwell, who's on strike, and it's Mitchell Santner continuing on from the Forsyth Bar Stadium in, bowling now to Maxwell, who's off the mark with just a little push into the onside. They might look for 2 here. No, I won't get a chance too, because that man again, Phillips again, steaming in. Well bowled by Sodi, but a good catch too, and I love the energy of Glenn Phillips, the bit of showmanship as well. He takes a good catch running around, big fist pump, and gets into it. Santner comes into bowl to Philippi, who's gone straight back down the ground. There's a player out there who's going to beat him, though. Going to beat the player at long on and long off. Well timed by Philippi. Couple of bounces, races away to the boundary for 4. Josh Philippi showing why he was the leading run scorer in the BBL. Moves through to 34.
And it's required. Even though a wicket has just fallen 2 balls ago, Philippi needs to keep going here. He can't afford to rebuild with a few balls with Glenn Maxwell. He needs to continue.
Philippi on strike to Mitchell Santner, trying to sweep him. But caught between 2 minds there. It was well bowled as it went through to Seifert. No run.
But a turn there as well, and bounce. We know Santner's a tall man, but a little bit of bounce and turn with it as well, which is interesting, obviously being a new wicket, and now it's only 29 overs into the life of this wicket, but good from a New Zealand point of view.
Santner to Philippi, who's on 34. It spooned it away in front of Kane Williamson through the cover region. It'll just be a single. Williamson looked alive there for a moment, but it's just away and wide to his left.
When I say a New Zealand perspective, I'm thinking Amelia Kerr, Fran Jonas as well, with the White Ferns in action tomorrow, ODI number 2 against England.
Absolutely, as Santner is in bowling again. So Maxwell just a little push and an easy couple. Yep. The White Ferns need to bounce back, Jake. Disappointing. Was it 8-wicket win by England?
Rikki.
Sorry, but
Carry on.
you brought it up.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said 8-wicket loss. I just talked about the spinners. But you're correct.
I think it's Santner bowling now to Philippi. That's wide, and it's called wide. Australia 77 for 2. Sorry, 78 for 2, excuse me.
Yeah, disappointing the other day. Well, yesterday it was. No, sorry, 2 days ago in Christchurch, ODI #1. But hopefully have learned a lot, taken a lot, and hit the game tomorrow with some purpose.
It's a good thing. There's always another go as Philippi goes straight back down the ground to Santner playing in. Player coming in off the boundary, hasn't timed it. Bounces just a couple of metres outside the inner ring. Didn't time it at all, that one. Philippi might have got the toe end of the bat because that's what he's looking at. It ends the over. Santner's frustrated as well. Australia's 79 for 2. Philippi is 36 and Maxwell is 2. They're chasing 220 to win.
I think the miss hit saved him, actually. The Philippine, we've talked about his strength over extra cover. He's shaped. You could tell from his hips and his shoulder alignment, he was looking for that extra cover again and actually chunked it almost an inside edge, big inside edge, and it floated more towards mid-off, long off than extra cover. But I noticed Tim Southey was tracking for cover and had to double back. So in the end, a miss hit probably saved him, to be fair, Rikki.
So it's Kyle Jamieson back on now from in front of us here at the northern end of University Oval. It's a difficult start, Jamieson, and it's Philippi who is on strike, and that'll be just a single. Will run that away down to third man. Jamieson 1 for 31 from his 2 overs.
Just brought up a stat before around the leading wicket takers, and Sodhi's now second behind Tim Southey for international T20 cricket for New Zealand. I also noticed another name on there who's a little bit of a forgotten man, but my word, when he's on song, and probably more importantly when he's fit, is amazing, is Adam Milne, who's on the top 10 list, and I wonder how far away he is after a good BBL.
Here's Jamieson coming in to bowl to Glenn Maxwell. He's waiting on that. There'll be no run as it's cut off by Santner, patrolling the region.
Another winner in the auction as well, in the IPL auction, and well done to him. But when he is fit, he is one of the best in the country, and he's fast. He's probably, well, him and Lockie Ferguson easily are the 2 fastest in New Zealand, who's another name we haven't talked about a lot with the way the Black Caps have been rolling, but there's 2 guys there who are on the outer but would be good enough to be in this team.
It's Jamieson in bowling now to Maxwell. Just plays that away into the onside. There's a chase for He's busy Glenn Phillips. It would be just a single. Of course, Lockie Ferguson was in this team earlier in the season, suffered a lower back injury. He's still on the comeback trail from that, but it feels like now we talk more often about who can't be picked because of the depth. Not, oh God, who are we going to pick? There's so much depth.
Absolutely, and that's with the bat as well. I mean, the star of the Super Smash, Finn Allen, who just smoked it every time he went out to bat, can't make the side.
Jamieson bowling now to Josh Philippi. Just spoons that up to the leg side. Again, it's Phillips controlling mid-wicket run. We also starting to see the gap from Super Smash to international not perhaps as big as it once was. Guys performing in that can perform at international level.
Look, I think for the last 5 or 6 years it's been like that, I really do, and I think it probably goes back to before that 2015 World Cup. The Hesson and McCullum, I think you saw whenever a domestic player got picked and stepped up, they were ready to go. They performed straight away, which told me the gap wasn't as large as we thought.
Here's Jamieson continuing on to Philippi this time. Oh, just over the head of the tall Mitchell Santner at backward point. They'll get away with it. They'll come back for a dodgy couple. They all get now. Philippi's gone flying straight into Tim Seifert. Almost couple of errors there from Philippi. Got away. He's gone through to 39. Australia now 83 for 2. 1 to come in this Jamieson over, the 10th over.
Well bowled too, slower ball. There's been a couple of slower balls today. I think Jamison's learned that hard length. The Australians are looking for it, so he's a bit fuller and he's a bit slower as well. And that little collision that fires Philippi, the way Seifert's built, Seifert and Glenn Phillips would probably proper scrum pretty well.
Right,
both
proverbials.
Big guns, wide shoulders, that thick neck. Away you go.
Let's see if Jamieson can finish off this good over. Straight back down the ground. He's mistimed this. Tracking back. Williamson almost got there. I couldn't quite stop the boundary either.
If it can.
It hung in the air for a long, long time and eventually trickled away down to long off for 4. So it does finish the over. 8 from it Good finish from Philippi. He is 43, Maxwell 3, and Australia 87 for 2. Jacob Oram stepping out. Craig coming back, and boy, that hung, and you can see Philippi just watching, and perhaps if Kane Williamson was a slightly taller man, he might have had a crack at a dive, but couldn't stop it.
Hell of an effort there from Kane. Australians would have had their heart in their mouth there, as Kane's known to take some absolute speckies in his career.
It would have put a lot of pressure on the catch of the summer. We've talked about throughout the Glenn Phillips screamer at Mount Wanganui, Daryl Mitchell's cracker in Napier. There's another good one somewhere too. It's gone out of my brain, but anyway, Australia now required runway to centre comes in, and then reverse sweeping, and that's gone down to Stoney. Catch taken. Glenn Maxwell tried to get tricky, and Sodhi diving on the ring, down it, line leg, takes the catch. He's lifted up on the shoulders, being carried around by James Neesham. Big wicket. Maxwell goes for 3 off the bowling of Santner. Reverse sweeping. Sodhi. That's a good catch.
Great grab that. I did wonder after that first over that he bowled, that the threat of Maxwell in the reverse sweep was the reason as to why Nish didn't get a second over. And obviously I think for New Zealand fans and the Black Caps there, much happier seeing the back of Glenn Maxwell for 3 off 5.
Yeah, he goes. In Australia, 87 for 3 now. Philippi's still there on 43. The young man anchoring the innings at the moment. Santner takes the wicket of Glenn Maxwell, supported by spinning mate Ish Sodhi on the ring. Good man position. Takes a really good catch.
I said at the start of the day there that this was going to be the big battle to watch. I think how our spinners and their spinners would operate on smaller grounds with obviously now the score that we got and the Australians having to come after us. The beautiful art of that Santner's got of dropping his pace 10 to 15k between balls and arm ball and things like that, and obviously all the variations of Ish has sort of got the making and breaking of this game.
And the wicket off the first ball of the over from Santner. That brings Marcus Stoinis to the crease. So Australia promoted Mitch Marsh up the order at Hagley the other day. This time it's been Maxwell. He's been and gone, and now it's Stoinis out there. He's on strike to Santner, and he's given a little bit of width, and it'll get Stoinis off the mark as he just plays it away past. Up there, fielding on the boundary. Philippi, his approach now, still needs to keep pressing on because the required run rate is 13.7. Santner comes in and bowls to Philippi, and just punches it away. A wicket for a single. Just the one though. So a wicket, 2 singles so far off this over. Stoinis back on strike. Stoinis. Santner is bowling to him now. Just pushed away in front of square into the offside. Another single as Kane Williamson comes around from head off to do the fielding.
Beautiful hard length actually bowled there from Mitchell Santner. The ability to the batters not able to get down to him and only be able to play him off the back foot through the covers.
Santner again to Philippi. They're trying to rotate the strike, and it's a similar shot this time. It's going to be Martin Guptill coming around from long off. I said it is Glenn Phillips. He's patrolling out here. Dangerous out there. Guptill, Phillips, good fielders. Another single though, ticking over the strike. But the run rate creeps up. 91 for 3, to come. Santner's third over. 10.5 gone in this innings. Stoinis. It's to heave it away, and it's Guptill coming around from long on to do the fielding, and it'll be just another single. Great over from Mitchell Santner, a wicket and 5 from it, and Australia 92 for 3.
Yeah, outstanding over that from Mitch Santner. Well and truly, these Black Cap bowlers are putting the squeeze on them, and it's come from obviously Sodhi warming up now as well. So the spin duo of Santner and Sodhi really looking to throttle and pipe down the Australian run chase.
Australia needing another 128 runs to win. 220 is the target. They're 92 for 3. It's going to be Sodi. He's 1 for 6 from his opening over. Got that catch, short fine leg that took the wicket to of Aaron Finch. Back on now, bowling to Marcus Stoinis.
It's amazing to think, probably only 5 to not even 10 years ago, you'd think people start shivering at 14 and over, and I think the emergence of T20 cricket, these guys don't even batter an eyelid at 14 and over, so it's still a long way to go.
Stoinis is certainly capable. We've seen it here on New Zealand soil as well. He's on strike and he's swung that down the ground. It has raced away. Trent Bolt coming around, not going to be able to stop it. Down that long off. Gee, he timed that well, Stoinis. Guptill came one way, Bolt the other, and the ball just bisected the two of them. Boundary for Marcus Stoinis. He's 7 and Australia 96 for 3. Sodi, Tim Seifert, wicket keeper, stump Mike. So, spinning that ball in his fingers. He's got Stoinis on strike again. This time punch into the onside. No run though, well bowled.
Again, looked to be another flipper from Ish there, so it's awesome to see that he's obviously last game was the first time brought out into a game, and I think he's already bowled 3 this game, so the fact that he's got confidence to do this, he's landing it beautifully, it's good signs to come.
Sodi again continuing on, third ball of his second over. That one's a little bit fuller. It's gone past Williamson at mid-wicket, and it's going to go past Guptill as well. At long off. Again, just raced away, and that's 100 up for Australia. Nothing that Williamson in the ring at mid-off, and Guptill, what could do about that?
Very strong player, that's Stoinis. I'd say that those 2 boundaries there, he hasn't even got anywhere near the middle either, and fielders had no chance, and Guptill and bowl.
Guptill, and he is quick around that edge, and he just could not get to it. So Stoinis is now on 11. This time's gone straight on, down the ground, over the boundary for 6 at long on. Bolt just had to watch it sail by. Brilliant shot from Stoinis, and he's made a great start to this innings. 17 off 7, Australia 106 for 3.
Again, that looked like another variation from out the front of the hand from Ish. Just wouldn't want him seen sitting with the stock ball just for a little period here. They're still well and truly in control of this game.
He's gone 4.46 so far. Stoinis off this over as Sodi bowls to him again. Good response from Sodi. It'll just be a single as Trent Bolt comes in from long on to do the fielding. 7 for 3, but this is good from Stoinis just to relieve a little bit of the heat on the young man Philippi, who's at the other end. He's on 45, but it's only in his second match for Australia.
Yeah, he's looking to burden the responsibility of creating the run rate pressure.
Yes, Sodi to Philippi. That just bounces up and over. There's a Seifert, a dot ball to finish. Good finish to the over from Ish Sodi. Australia 107 for 3. They require 113 from the final 8 overs. We'll take a quick break, and I'll use my words and come back with Tom Bartlett, who'll join Mark Craig on Magic Talk and streaming everywhere on the Rover app.
The Magic Talk Summer of Cricket, brought to you from inside the Resine commentary box. Resine Colour Shops. Get a professional finish with Resine. The Black Caps versus Australia. Live from the University Oval in Dunedin on your new home for live cricket. Magic Talk.
107 for 3, Australia. They have batted for 12 overs. They are chasing 220 to win Game 2 of this 5-game T20 series against the Black Caps. Their equation at the moment, they still require another 113. It is Satner who starts another over, and Stoinis is punching it behind point for 4. Terrific shot, just leant back on it, punched it square, and it raced across the outfield and into the boundary. Stoinis has gone to 22, Australia to 111 for 3. That equation, 109 from 47 deliveries.
Again, just showing the sheer brute strength of Stoinis there. A little bit short and wide from Satner, but don't mind that with his field set out there on the offside.
Stoinis waits again. It's short. This time he's playing it out on the onside, and Satner will do his own fielding, and he throws at the stumps too, collects it. Satner, who's an athlete. Stoinis gets home. He gets the single. He's 23. Philippi is 45. 112 for 7. 108 from 46 deliveries. was not bad from Mitchell Sattner at all. Tore after it, collected it, threw it all in the one movement. And Stoinis, though, was home. 112 for 3. Sattner around the wicket again to Josh Philippi, and again he's dancing down the wicket. This is Scott out to square, coming in to take the catch, and taking the catch is Conway, and Josh Philippi's brave innings is over. Caught square for 45, and Australia lose their 4th wicket at 112.
Really impressive piece of bowling that from Mitchell Sattner. The ability to slow the ball up and get it above Philippi's eyes, and knowing that he does love to come down the wicket and hit over extra cover there, and actually just doing him in the flight. A little bit of turn, a little bit of dip, and lovely hands from Conway out in the outfield.
We'd seen him play a shot like that earlier in his innings, Josh Philippi. He'd lifted it over a wideish mid-off or long-off. This time, just too square. Conway took a couple of catches in Christchurch and another catch here. And Josh Philippi heads down the tunnel for 45. Australia 112 for 4. And Ashton Agar, I think, has come out. Tall figure of left-handed.
This is a clear tactic, I think, from Australia as well, with having the ball turning from both Sattner and Sodhi into the left-hander and Agar, and creating that left-hand right-hand partnership, making it harder for the New Zealand bowlers to adjust to the both left and right-hand batter.
Agar showed in Christchurch under the lights that more than capable of sending them all over the ground. He's out to join Marcus Stoinis, who's on 23. Australia 112 for 4. 108 more runs required from 45 balls. So equation definitely in New Zealand's favour, but Australia with the likes of Marsh still to come. There's plenty of firepower in that Australian dressing room. Here's Stoinis waiting for Sattner. Plays it out square. Conway will come in off the boundary. And just the single for Stoinis. He's 24. Total 113 for 4. Had to reach for that one a bit more, didn't he?
Yeah, Mitchell Sattner definitely did him in the air there, which is, again, T20 cricket, you don't see many spinners these days with the ability to go up and down above the batsman's eyes, and that actually turned a little bit as well.
First ball for Agar. Smiles and it's short, and he swings it wide, coming in to take the catch, and taking the catch at mid-wicket. Agar is out, Conway's got 2 in the over, Sattner's got 2 wickets, and all of a sudden Australia 113 for 5.
Probably found himself a little bit fortunate there, Sattner, but again, T20 cricket, you take those opportunities when they come, and again, a lovely set of hands from Devon Conway out in the boundary there.
It was short. Agar thought, oh, here we go. First ball, and Conway, he had to move to his right at mid-wicket, but he did so, takes the catch, and Australia, having looked pretty comfortable with Philippi at the wicket with Stoinis, all of a sudden Philippi goes, Agar goes first ball for a duck, and it's 113 for 5. That equation, 107 more required from 43 balls.
It's a funny game, the old T20 cricket. You throw a big total in there and a bit of run rate pressure, and all of a sudden you throw a couple of wickets in there. Acid really goes back on this Australian batting order now. Yes, they do bat deep, but these guys have to do it for a long period of time now, and it's whether or not they're up to the task.
Mitchell Marsh was arguably their best batsman in Christchurch. Good scoring, power hitter. Seen him do it at the domestic level in Australia and at the international level. And he comes out to join Marcus Stoinis. So 2 big men who can hit the ball a long way, but they have lots of work to do. That target, 220. It's a long way away. And running out of overs, the equation. If you're just joining us, 107 to win from 43 balls. And Marsh prepares for his first delivery. Round the wicket goes Sattner, down leg side, appeal at the wicket, up they go. The finger goes up and Mitchell Marsh is out first ball. Down leg side got a little tickle, and Marsh comes and goes. 3 wickets in the over for Mitchell Sattner. And Australia collapsing here, 113 for 6. Marsh out for a duck. Sattner has figures of 4 for 31.
Outstanding bit of glove work that from Tim Seifert there, sliding down the leg side, just getting it just out in front of himself there, Mitch Marsh, and to finish off an exceptional spell from Mitchell Sattner.
3 wickets in his last 4 balls. Mitch Sattner First it was Philippi, then Aga came and went, and Mitch Marsh goes for a first ball duck too. And Australia, the target of 220, well, if it didn't feel like a long way away, it will now, with New Zealand ripping through the middle order.
Again, the spinners have done it again. They're such an underrated part of a T20 side, I think, spinners, and we've got two of the best in our team going around at the moment. So awesome to see Mitch Santner take his four for it, and Ish still with a couple overs to go.
Yeah, in Christchurch it was Sodhi who took 4, and here's Santner taking 4 for 31. Terrific spell. And Daniel Sams has made his way out into the middle, and Australia, having started that 13th over 3 down, end at 6 down, with some of their more established and proven performers back in the hut. Sam's only playing his 4th game. Stoinis, though, 24 from 11. He almost single-handedly, remember, Marcus Stoinis finished the job on the Black Caps at Eden Park a few seasons ago. A few of us haven't forgotten that. It was a near-run thing for the New Zealand team that day. Well, he's going to have to do something like that again today. Trent Bolt back into the attack from the northern end. He bowls to Stoinis. He swings over square leg out, over backward point, really, and coming across to cut it out on the boundary is Guptill. I think it's Guptill all the way out there. Throws it in. Stoinis back for 2. 115 for 6. Stoinis is 26. Sams is yet to score.
It's very interesting. I think Stoinis is backed into a little bit of a corner here. I think they're in a position here where they have to throw caution to the wind here now. There's no point trying to bat out your 20 overs. I think if they're any chance of winning here, Sam's has got the ability to go from ball 1, and Stoinis has got to start going now as well.
Bolt, left arm over the wicket to Stoinis, and he's driving this time down to long off. There's just 1 run. He is 27. Sam's yet to score. Australia 116 for 6. The target 220. So the equation 104 more to win from 40 deliveries. They're capable, Australia. Got the firepower. Stoinis certainly could do it all on his own. But the problem now, of course, is he's deep into some of this middle to lower order. Just running out of partners.
Yeah, very much so. Don't write the Sam's guy off, though. He's got the ability to hit a very, very big ball and from ball 1 as well. So you'll need to get going nice and early with Stoinis here.
Here's Sams, waits for his first ball from Bolt, and he just taps it down into the gully and scampers through for 1. He's off the mark with 1. Stoinis is 27, Australia 117 for 6. The equation 103 more to win from 39 deliveries. Sams, of course, made his first class debut for Canterbury. A few links to New Zealand, but now plying his trade in Australia, and worked his way up into this Australian white ball team. Good with the ball, talented with the bat. Stoinis. It's fuller this time from Bolt, and Bolt does his own fielding, full length, diving across in the pit to the pitch is Bolt, and there is no run. 117 for 6.
Great bit of fielding off his own bowling there from Trent Bolt. Very charismatic individual.
Certainly expressive, isn't he, when he hits the deck? There's plenty of smiling, and
there's never a dull moment when he's around, that's for sure.
There he is, bowling to Stoinis, and he plays it out into the covers to Williamson, and he'll get a single. So Stoinis is 28. Sams is 1. 118 for 6. This is the 14th over. Just joining us, the target 220 earlier today. The Black Caps 219 for 7, with Martin Guptill starring with 97. Caught on the boundary, trying to bring up the century with a 6.
Yeah, I was actually halfway out of my seat there, celebrating before big Stoinis.
I think you and half the crowd too,
yeah.
Mark.
Unfortunately, caught up on the fence.
Last ball of the 14th over. Bolt shorter this time. Stoinis just leans it and then plays it well. Misfield down at third man. It's gone for 4. And that's disappointing from Kyle Jamieson. It's headed straight towards him. Pretty regulation position at third man. Through the hands and through to the boundary for 4. So Sams will take that. And at the end of the over, Sams is 5. Stoinis is 28. Australia in pursuit of 220 for the 1. A 122 for 6.
Fortunately, the big man Jamieson there, grabbing a bit of fresh air. But yeah, the Black Caps still obviously in a very, very dominating position here. It's interesting to see that Trent has gone to his death overs early there with change-ups and your pretty stock standard fare with your slower balls and your slow ball bumpers and stuff. And now we see Ashodi coming back in for his third over.
Figures of 1 for 21 so far, Sodi. The equation, 98 more Australia need to win from 36 deliveries. And Marcus Stoinis, get the feeling if they get anywhere near this, he is going to be probably somewhere near 3 figures. He's on 28 at the moment, off 15. It's going to require something like that, I suspect, from Australia and from Marcus Stoinis, if they are going to level the series here. Here's Sodi bowling from the stadium end, and Stoinis rocks back and swings it over mid-wicket and all the way for 6. Terrific shot from Stoinis, and there's the example of the power. He just got a little short one, and he dispatched Sodi over mid-wicket for 6, 128 for 6.
Again, you're right in terms of the power. I'd say he clothed that and still managed to clear that boundary quite comfortably.
76-metre blow from Marcus Stoinis, and not out of the screws of that big Gray Nichols bat of his. Here's Sodi, the response, it's full, and Stoinis pulleys it down to long on, but he'll only get 1. Stoinis 35, Australia 129 for 6. The equation, 91 more to win, 34 balls to do it.
I'd really like to see Ish running here, especially to Sam's here, just to slow it up. He's obviously going to come down and have a little dip at him here, so he's got the courage, just instead of sliding one out the front, just actually throw his stock ball leggy up, get it above the eyes, and just drag his length back slightly.
Sam's ready for course Sodi, and he goes back and then punches it down to long off for just 1. Australia need more than ones, but Sodi, on the other hand, quite happy with that. 2.3 overs, 1 for 29 figures for Sodi. 8 so far off this, the 15th over. 130 for 6, Australia. They need 220 to win. Stoinis back on strike as Sodi bowls somewhat shorter, and Stoinis pulls it down way over, long on for 6. Second 6 in the over off the bat of Marcus Stoinis. He goes to 41. Australia 136 for 6.
Again, another one out the front of the hand there from Ish, obviously just trying to get in and out of this over. I think he needs to have a little bit of courage here and go back to a stock ball, turning away from Stoinis, and just pull his length slightly back.
No doubt, Sodi a little bit rattled here. 14 off the first 4. Here is Sodi. What does he do? This time it's much fuller, but it's wider, and it's too wide. It's called wide by the umpire, so he'll have to do that one again. 137 for 6. Stoinis 41. Equation 83 to win from 32 balls. Marcus Stoinis. It's again for Sodi. Again, it's fuller, and Stoinis smashes it down to long off. 1 bounce to Tim Southey, and they'll get 1, and that's all they'll get. Sodi might be pleased to have seen that one not disappear. It was up there. Stoinis looks a little bit frustrated. Last ball of the Sodi over. Sam's this time, and he's trying to swing, and he swings, and that's gone wide, and that'll be 4 for sure. 1, 2, 3 bounces into the fence. Good shot from Daniel Stamps to end a very good over for Australia. 142 for 6 at the end of 15. They need 78 more to win from 30. Marcus Stoinis is 42. Sam's is 10. And Mark Craig has departed. Jacob Oram has come in. And that was a nice finish to the over from Sam's, considering the damage Jacob had done by Marcus Stoinis.
Yeah, and we're seeing the danger that this middle order of Australia possesses. They've got power, they've got just out-and-out brute strength, and these boundaries are nowhere near big enough for them. The good thing is, though, for New Zealand, for the Black Caps, is that they're 6 down. Mitch Marsh and Glenn Maxwell, and even to a lesser extent Ashton Agar, are all dismissed. So basically 1 more wicket here, and that's the end of that power middle order. So New Zealand's done the hard work, got rid of most of that power, but they need to break this partnership.
And they've gone back to Tim Southey, who is going to resume. He was terrific at the start of the innings. 1 for 7 from 2 overs. Here he is, Southey bowling from the northern end. He bowls, and Stoinis just walks across and flicks it over fine leg and down to the boundary for 4. Another boundary from Marcus Stoinis. Great start to this, the 16th over. He goes to 46. Australia 146 for 6.
Nonchalant, really, wasn't it? Just Didn't even crouch down, dip down like a lot of players do to lap it. He almost just stepped across and leg glanced it, really. But this is, I mean, the game looks like it's gone. 74 off 29, but a couple of big overs here. It's all on.
Southey goes to Stoinis. This time he has to smash it through square out to Nisham on the point boundary, and they will get one. So Stoinis is 47, Sams is 10, 147 for 6. That target 220, the equation, 73 more to win for Australia from 28 balls.
I mean, if you think about it, and let's say a couple of overs here go pretty big for Australia, and you're talking 15 to 20. Next thing Australia need 30 or 35 off 3 overs, off 18 balls. It's game on.
Absolutely. Here's Southey. Bowls to Sams, and Sams swings straight down the ground and miles over the long off boundary for 6. Terrific hit from Sams. Good power, got under it from Southey. And that is gone for 6. Good hit from him. He's to 16. Australia 153 for 6.
Quality shot, because that was not far away from just being a perfect Yorker by Southey. But so strong, Sams, and we saw it a lot in the Big Bash. If you saw it during the Australian home summer, the ability to hit boundaries, in particular sixes from ball one, is a hell of a skill for Sams, and he can do it. You've got Stoinis there on 47 off 21. He's set. Sams is coming in straight away and smoking it.
Sams again goes Southey. This time he swings it out behind point, and chasing out on the boundary there is Clips, and he will cut it off, but they'll come back for 2. So Sams goes to 18, Stoinis is 47. Australia 155 for 6, 65 more to win, 26 balls.
And 2 a ball is actually a win for New Zealand for Southey. You'd actually be happy with 12 and over, and you wouldn't say that too often, to be fair. 12 and over at the moment is a win for New Zealand. It's the 16, the 18, the 20, 22 and over, which is the scary element. And we see field just changing a wee bit to Stoinis. So you got deep square coming up, and Santner at point going back to a deep backward point. So I'm assuming this is going to be a wide hole or wide length by Southey.
Bowls again, and Stoinis just holds the position and smashes it over cover for 6. Up and under, you could see the plan, but they couldn't prevent it. And up it goes. Terrific shot from, that's Sams who's on strike there. He's just sat back and crushed it. 161 for 6.
That's an outrageous shot for someone that, for his 6th ball of the innings, I think it was the 6th, maybe 7th, because it was wide. Southey missed his length, though. That was just a good length ball. You either need to be a bit shorter, a bit slower, right up there in the block hole, but that's an amazing shot over cover. Santner now coming up from deep backward point. Williamson going back at cover. So you've got a point, a cover, and a long off all on the boundary.
161 for 6. Southey bowls again, and Sams, this time he goes over mid-wicket, miles over mid-wicket. Another 6. Sams goes to 30 in 8 deliveries, and at the end of the 16th over, Australia 167 for 6. They need another 53 from the last 4 overs. It is not over this one. 167 for 6. The target is 220. More from Jacob Oram, and then back with Rikki, Swannell and Jake to take us through to the end of this match on Magic Talk and streaming everywhere on the Rover app.
Well, what do you say to that? Now I'm actually a bit worried about this match. I mean, I talked about it, going for 15, 20 and it's game on. It's gone for 25, and you feel like amazingly the momentum is with Australia now, which is a scary prospect with the way we've just seen the ball fly around, but still 53 off 24. I know where I'd rather be, Rikki, and that's wearing the beige uniform, because New Zealand has this game. If they can nick out 1 or 2 more, that's the game, easily done. But I tell you what, if this continues, who knows?
Oh, there is a bit on University Oval. We've seen some just wonderful hitting. It's Kyle Jamieson from the stadium end of University Oval to Stoinis, who just slashes that away. There's a chase on in the boundary for 4, and that'll be 50 for Marcus Stoinis. Just slash through the covers. He goes through to 51, his first international T20 half-century. Stoinis, what a knock it has been too. 51 off 22 balls. Strike rate of 231, and Australia 171 for 6.
Okay, they've had their fun. We said as a neutral you want to see good cricketers, but this, okay, you can slow down now. But the last 13 balls, 49 runs, 5 sixes.
Here's Jamieson again to Stoinis. What's the response this time? It's gone fine. Down past Trent Bolt at short third man, and down to the boundary for 4. Back-to-back boundaries for Stoinis, and that required run rate is coming down.
Yeah, and that is just good luck following the brave ones, the courageous ones out there at the moment, the Australians who are swinging hard and playing well. Let's be fair, they're playing well, but if you swing hard enough, you get those fine nicks. It's going to go in with third man, fine leg. Everyone behind the wicket is up. They're not expecting that really at this stage of the innings, but again another 4, and that's now Jamieson with 4 and 4 to start his 4th over.
45 required off 22 balls. Here's Jamieson once more. This time it's full. Stoinis can't get it away. He's frustrated with himself. Just a single. Good response from Kyle Jamieson. 176 for 6.
So the last 15 balls, 54 runs, I think, 55 runs off 15 balls. If you're ever going to turn a game around, that's a little period that's going to do it for you.
Jamieson stands and turns at the top of his mark. He's got Daniel Sams, who's 30 off 8, and he's on strike. And make that 36 off 9, because that has flung away over his left shoulder, down to over the long leg boundary for 6. With ease. It was effortless. 36 off 9, and now, 38 from 20 is what Australia need.
I mean, to be able to hit the ball like this, I think it's slower ball, but he's got inside the line and deposited it over fine leg for 6. But to do this from ball 1 is not easy, but I think Sam's has actually carved himself out a little niche here, and he's able to do it. As I said before, this happened almost every second game in the Big Bash. He can do it from ball 1, which is amazing. But it's really on Jamieson now, who hasn't had a great day, 54 for none off his 3.4, but can turn it around in 1 ball.
Here he is with his 5th ball of the innings, and it's Sams who doesn't get hold of this one. He'll look for 2, won't be able to get it again. Good field and great hustle from Phillips. He almost put Jamieson under all sorts. He was so eager. There was no trouble though, so just a single. And you'll take that at the moment. 37 needed from 19.
Well, there's been 2 singles in this over, which is great from a New Zealand perspective, but the other 3 have been 4-4-6. But this is what I was saying before, 55, I mean, and let's hope this is something good for New Zealand, this ball, but 1 for 55 off 4, who would care right now about the 55? It's all about this ball, and if Jamieson can get Stoinis out here, I think everything will be forgotten.
So it's Stoinis on strike. He is on 56. Australia 183 for 6. Here's Jamieson bowling to Stoinis. It's full, and he's smashed it through into the onside, and it'll be just a single. They'll take that to finish the over, New Zealand. Now, with 3 overs remaining, Australia needing 36 more runs. Stoinis 57, Sams 37 off 10, a strike rate of 370. 184 for 6, chasing 220 to win. Australia were 113 for 6 after 13 overs. They're 184 for 6 now after 17.
Crazy last 15 minutes. Absolutely amazing cricket to watch, let's be honest. If you are here to watch boundaries and be entertained, then you've had a great last 3 or 4 overs. But for New Zealand, they need a wicket. If these 2 are at the crease at the end of the game, I suggest that's because Australia have won. So we've got Trent Boult now coming back on from the northern end, and if ever you need your senior bowler or one of your 2 with Southee as well, you need it now. If they can get 1 here, game over. If not, I think Australia's probably going to romp home here with these 2 at the crease.
Trent Boult, none for 24 from his 3 overs, has just been going at 8s. That'll be all right. 36 from 18. It's Boult bowling to Stoinis. Stoinis slashes it away. It'll be 1 bounce down the man deep cover boundary. Just a single. I'll take that, New Zealand.
I feel like it's a hyperbole, actually saying they're going to romp home when you consider where they were 15, 20 minutes ago. But the way the game has changed and just dramatically shifted, it's probably not far wrong the way they're hitting it at the moment.
Never count an Aussie out, that's for sure. Hitting power that they have, and here's Sams now on strike to the left arm at Boult, straight back down the ground, driving through down to long on, just a single. Tim Southee doing the fielding down on that boundary. Haven't been able to get Boult away. There's 2 singles so far. Now it's 34 from 16, 186 for 6.
When you just look at Sam standing next to Boult there, you maybe realise where that power's coming from. He's bigger than I probably gave him credit for. It's dwarfed by the likes of Mitch Marsh and Stoinis and the Australians, but he's obviously spent some time in the gym.
Throwing some tin around. Oh, that's full from Boult, and it's going to be a dot ball. Good fielding, Williamson. That mid-off area that he likes to be in. Cover region.
That's gold, that dot ball. That is, I mean, a wicket is perfect scenario for New Zealand, but a dot ball at this stage, considering the other two balls have gone for ones, is well bowled by Trent Bolt.
Well, they cheered it. The crowd cheered the dot ball, and they're going to get a wide here. They're going to groan at that one wide down the leg side. Bolt, who groaned himself. Stoinis is coming back and having a laugh, having a chip at each other, but with smiles on their faces. Bolt and Stoinis.
Yeah, I think teammates from Delhi, did they play together in Delhi by themselves? But Stoinis had gone across to the offside to try and free up probably fine leg or deep square, something like that. Bolt thought it had just shaved leg stump. To be fair, seeing the replay, it's probably fair enough. And again, another rule suited for the batters for entertainment.
33 off 15 required now. Trent Bolt continuing on to Marcus Stoinis here at University Oval. Well bowled, Trent Bolt. He's urging his fielders to come in, Southey. Oh, Sams has got himself in trouble. He's halfway down, but they went to the bowler's end. Bolt firing up.
It's nice though, that's great bowling. Absolutely superb bowling by Trent Bolt, and showing the quality bowler that he is at any stage. He can bowl a swinging ball at the top, or he can bowl some good death stuff here. Hitting the hole, straight hole there. Stoinis can only just miss-hit it down to long on for one.
2 balls to come in the over. 32 runs required. 2.2 overs remaining. Here's Bolt to Sams. It's full. It's straight back down the ground. Oh, it's hit the umpire on the way through. Ricocheted off, and what was probably going to be a certain boundary. Oh, well, both Southey and Guptill were down there, but he timed it pretty well. Sams cannot believe it. And, yeah, there's a hell of a bruise going to be up on the shin.
That's tough. Like I mentioned before about creating your own luck with that nick through third man, but that was bad luck for Sam. I'm not sure if it would have gone all the way, but I'm sure it would have been an easy 2. But was Gaffney's left boot getting in the way?
He got it pretty straight, didn't he? Sams, regardless, it's now 189 for 6. Stoinis is on strike. He's on 59. Bolt bowls to Stoinis, and it's again right up in the block hole from Trent Bolt. It'll just be a single as Southey does the fielding at long on. That's a really, really good over at the death when they needed it from the senior man, Trent Bolt. He'll finish with none for 30 from his 4 overs. Australia need 30 to win from the final 12 balls.
Yeah, seriously good over there by Trent Bolt, and that, in a way, I'm not going to say it's won the game for New Zealand, but it's swung it back into New Zealand's favour. I think 6 off it when you're bowling to 2 guys who one is 39 off 12, Daniel Sams, and the other one, Stoinis, 60 off 29, and had absolutely just been a tornado through the University of Otago Oval for the last 20 minutes. To turn it around and only go for 6, truly amazing.
So Tim Southey's going to bowl this over. That's the penultimate, and that leaves Ish Sodhi with 1 to come. And Neesham, who hasn't had a bowl in the innings, but he might be, I'd imagine, giving the shoulders a bit of a windmill, bit of a warm-up.
Yeah, I think they'd go Neesham. I just think that the slower bowler in the 20th, and let's say they needed 20 runs or whatever it is, I think even though Neesham would come in cold without bowling, I think that's probably the safer bet than a leg spinner to bowl the 20th.
That's the only other option, because Bolt, Jamieson and Santner have all bowled out, but it's Tim Southey from the stadium end to Marcus Stoinis. Stoinis walking across the stumps, and it'll be called wide, and that's what Southey's saying. He walked across Stoinis. He's not going to win the argument. It's on the teapot, hands on hips, 29 from 12.
It's a bit of a grey rule, that one, where if the batter shifts over, then you can shift your line with them. And to be fair, I mean, if you look at where Stoinis' back foot was, it was way outside off stump, and Southey only missed that wide guideline by a matter of 2 or 3 inches. So if you actually took it relative movement, he was probably okay still.
Love the look on Stoinis' face on that one as Southey comes in and bowls to Stoinis, and he's got some width this time. He's cutting through square, in front of square, on the offside rather, and it'll be just a single. Good response from Southey. But tell you what, Stoinis looked back at him after that wide was called and said, I've done you there. I've got you.
And I think he's still saying it. He's still taught. In fact, even umpire Haig's having a laugh as well. So I don't know what's being said, but everyone's happy.
These 2 matches, I must say, have been very competitive, but played in good spirit between good, hard cricketers. But obviously that IPL element where so many of them play together now and their teammates.
Absolutely.
It makes it really cool. They can give it to each other as Southey comes into bowl to Daniel Sams, who flicks it away just past the square leg umpire again, just a single. So Bolt and Southey are really constricting and restricting the Australians in this last couple of overs. 27 from 10 now.
You're right about the IPL. I mean, both sides still trying to win. I mean, that's an absolute given. I mean, Southey right now wants to bowl a dot ball or get Stoinis out, but obviously Stoinis wants to hit him to the boundary. So that competitive spirit is still there. But by being in the same dressing room with someone for a couple of months in a tournament overseas, you become mates with them, really, at the end of the day. But still, one's got the Australian crest and the other one's got the silver fern, and one's trying to win and one's, the other one is as well. So they're still competitive, but you're allowed to at least say good day to them.
Particularly the Aussies and Kiwis, isn't it? So we do. So many similarities. Southey continuing on to Stoinis now. Southey bowls now to Stoinis. Clips it away on the leg side. One bounce four. Behind square onto the leg side. Couldn't be stopped. Just clipped off the toes. Another one back in Stoinis' favour.
Yeah, again, just shuffling himself around, almost trying to put Southey off a wee bit. I thought Southey might have kept going wide, but Stoinis stepped over to the offside. Southey almost zeroing it at the stumps, that middle stump, and able to clip him off past Ish Sodhi at a short, fine leg. Had no chance whatsoever, even though it was clipped over his head. And now 23 off 9. Huge last 3 balls of this over. If it is going to be Neesham, I don't think he'd want to be bowling to anything less than about 15, 16, to be fair.
Southey, it's Stoinis. Marcus Stoinis on strike, and he's got that high and over the boundary all the way for 6. Just watched by the fielder out the Cow Corner region. 200 up for Australia, and now they need 17 to win from 8.
Just brute strength. It's a slower ball on a length. Most of the time against most humans, that's okay. It's hard to get away, but Stoinis just so strong. He doesn't move from his base, and he's just basically baseballing that over a wide mid-wicket, and it goes a long way back over the Australian viewing area into the stands.
71 off 32 now, Marcus Stoinis. And it's Southey bowling to him again, and this one's full. It's dug into the ground. There won't be a throw at the stumps. It'll be just a single. 16 from 7, and Sam's back on strike.
Big ball. If this is a 1 or a dot wicket, then I think it gives Neesham an opportunity. Actually, looking down there now, he's getting fed a drink from one of the 12th men. So obviously trying to get the hydration up, make sure he's okay. I think it is going to be Neesham. Not that I've seen a message or a sign from Williamson. I'm probably just guessing on who I'd go for, but big ball. I think if Southey can close us out, Neesham's got 15 to bowl to. I'm comfortable. If this goes the distance, probably in favour of the Australians.
Neesham had a great hand with the bat. He might still have to do it with the ball. Stoinis is 72, his previous high score.
The jersey's just come off, sorry, Rikki, so I think it is Neesham.
Right, here's Southey, though, still with the final ball of the penultimate over, and it's bowled to Daniel Sams now, and it's gone down the ground. It's going to be just a single. Good response from Southey to finish. It is just the one, and so with 1 over to come, 15 from 6, and Jimmy Neesham's got the cap off, and yeah, well, what a moment to come into. Hasn't bowled or spent so much time playing down here.
Crowd love it.
Yeah, the crowd on the bank, who I think are well and truly
hydrated. Yeah,
hydrated, thank you. Where Jimmy Neesham was fielding, they've given it to him as he goes out to bowl this final over. 15 from 6, or 205 for 6. Sams is 41, Stoinis 72. Can these two Aussies close it out, or is it on Jimmy Neesham?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a huge call, and so, I mean, I know what Williamson was doing earlier. He's bowling his trump cards, if you like, Santa and Sodhi with the spin, and then also bringing on Southey and Bolt earlier, because he wanted to get rid of one of these two, or both of them, because he wanted to nail the game before it got to this point. Hasn't happened because of some unbelievable striking by Sams and Stoinis, and this is where we've got down to, and it happens in cricket. If another day they nick them both out, or they're caught on the boundary, New Zealand win with a couple of overs left. But today, it's coming down to the last over, which, if I'm not incorrect, Mark Craig picked before the game, said it would come down to the last over. Genius.
He picked a big one from Guptill and down to the last over. Here it is, James Neesham, first ball of the final over. Daniel Sams is on strike. Full toss, it's gone up high. There's a player coming in off the boundary, sticking in underneath it. Taken on the boundary. Glenn Phillips out there again. Daniel Sams is furious with himself, but James Neesham has come on and done the job for New Zealand. He's taken a wicket with the first ball of the final over. What an effort from Neesham, and difficult catch from Phillips looking into the sun.
Wow. I actually didn't watch that because I just kept my eyes on the middle of the pitch. I was watching Sam's and Nisham. It was interesting to see their reactions. But that is a knee-high full toss. Any other day of the week, Sam's is happy to face that and deposit it a long way into the mid-wicket boundary. The one bad thing I would say, Rikki, it's great that Nisham gets to it. The one bad thing is that Stoinis is on strike. So they crossed. Stoinis will face 15 off 5 balls. Still absolutely doable for a guy in his form.
Wow. I talked about Glenn Phillips and just how pumped he gets, and it was right in front of another of the more raucous of the boundaries here at University Oval. Daniel Sams is furious. We've seen an image of him just firing his helmet into the dressing room. What a knock, though, from Sams. 41 off 15. He's given Australia a chance alongside Stoinis, but it's really on the bat of him. Jai Richardson's out to join him.
And he can hit a ball as well. I mean, he's no Stams or Stoinis or Marsh or anyone like that, but he can strike a ball as well.
Here's Nisham to Stoinis. 15 needed off the final 5 balls, and it's down the leg side, and Nisham's got a head on his head. And he turned to the umpire, and the arms didn't move. He's got away with one, perhaps, Nisham.
Oh, I can't believe that. Unless it has flicked his pad on the way past. But Gaffney didn't suggest that. I'm very surprised that wasn't called.
Well, you and Marcus Stoinis can't believe that either. Down the leg side, Nisham was certain, and he turned around and probably couldn't believe his luck. He had a great knock with the bat, Nisham. 4 to come, rather. Here he is bowling again to Stoinis. It's full. Down to the fielder at long on. It'll be just a single, and they've chose not to take the run. They're going to keep Stoinis on strike.
Well bowled, well bowled. The old saying, if you're going to miss a Yorker, you have to be a low full toss. Harder to get under, obviously, than missing the other way and being a half volley. Well bowled, James Nisham so far. None off 3. If this is a maiden, I give up. They need 15 off 3 balls, and Stoinis is saying, I'm going to do it all. 15
off 3. I remind you that James Nisham hit his first 3 balls for 6, so it can be done. Nisham to Stoinis. Stoinis, has he got hold of this one? This has gone over the boundary at long on for 6. Huge 6-2, and now it's 9 off 2. Stoinis is fired up. Richardson goes down for the pump of the fist. In Australia, Stoinis, 78 off 36.
Well, he makes a habit of this, doesn't he, in close games, or games that New Zealand have got. He can bring them close and give them a sniff, give them a chance. But I just wonder, when you need 6s to go wide, because it's a lot harder to hit. Even a low full toss that's wide of you, a lot harder to hit than when it's on the line of the stumps and you can still free your arms. So I'm surprised at the moment Nisham's still going for those sticks and not looking to go wide and get it away from the swing of Stoinis.
9 required from the last 2 balls for Australia. It's Nisham bowling to Stoinis, and this one has gone straight back down the ground. It's high. Southey's underneath it. Can he take the catch? Yes, he can! And the crowd at University Oval are on their feet. James Nisham takes 2 wickets in the over, and he gets Marcus Stoinis. Stoinis' wonderful innings of 78 comes to an end, and James Nisham at the death looks to have done enough for New Zealand.
What a game. What a player, James Nisham. And Southey never drops him, does he? That went an absolute mile high. And let's be honest, probably the worst ball this over that James Nisham has bowled. Length ball, really. I think Stoinis will be probably more angry, not that he's out, but that he's missed an opportunity to hit another one for 6. But Nisham's held his nerve, and Southey, more importantly, held his nerve and held that catch. So Stoinis got to go for an amazing 78 runs.
Well, James Nisham got a wicket for knee-high or hip-high full toss on the first delivery of the over to get Daniel Sams. And now Stoinis trudges back, having almost seen his team home. 9 off the final ball required. Don't overstep or bowl it wide or anything like that. And James Nisham will come in now to bowl to Jai Richardson. Richardson has a swing. He'll be able to squeeze it through to the boundary for 4. It will not be enough, though, from Australia. And New Zealand take it again. A quite spectacular game of T20 cricket at the University Oval. Australia hasn't been here for 21 years. Let's hope it's not that long till they're back in Dunedin if this is the sort of cricket that's going to be played. But it is the Black Caps with a 4-run win and a 2-0 series lead, thanks to the work of Martin Guptill at the top, 97, James Neesham, 39 off 15, and then he finished it at the death when all the pressure is on. 2 for 10 off his 1 over. What a match, Jacob Oram. A win for New Zealand in extraordinary circumstances.
Well, yeah, I don't know what to say that hasn't been said over the last half hour. I mean, when I sat in the chair at 15 overs, I thought the game was gone. I was wondering if we're going to win in the New Zealand was going to win in the 18th over or something like that. But the way Sams and Stoinis dragged Australia back into the match, and for a minute there, I thought that was probably in their favour with some amazing hitting and striking of the ball, sixes raining down everywhere. But New Zealand bowled well, Bolt in particular, and then Neesham in that last over. They held their catches, which you've got to do under pressure. And at the end of the day, just a great game. The sun came out, the wicket was amazing, and you know what? Everyone goes home happy.
Mark Craig has come back in to join us as well. You were doing a bit of pacing at the back, it looked like. A heck of a finish as well. Just summarise your thoughts of what we've just seen.
Yeah, like I think that's T20 cricket, eh? Like I said earlier in the day, that these guys don't batter an eyelid at 14, 15 and over, and they've got the ability to stay calm in those situations where you think, oh, this game's dead and buried, and again, it shows a couple of those lusty blows from Stoinis and Sams, and that they were always in the hunt, and they managed to wrestle the ascendancy back from the Black Caps. Like Jacob said, that the Black Caps were, in the driver's seat, and then all of a sudden he thought, oh, we could let this one slip through our fingers. So all in all, I think 230 odd runs in a T20 game of cricket, you can't actually ask much more from that.
Yeah, Australia were 113 for 6 after 13 overs. They finished 215 for 8. Stoinis almost saw them home for New Zealand. Rolling figures: Tim Southey 4 overs, 1 for 47. Trent Bolt 4 overs. Oh, looking at the wrong screen, there we go, none for 30. Kyle Jamieson, another tough day for him, though, none for 56 from his 4. Mitchell Santner, 4 for 31 from 4. Ish Sodhi, 1 for 41 off 3. And then James Neesham, 2 for 10 off the 1 over, that final over that he bowled. Gosh, it's not often we say Martin Guptill hitting 97. We talk so much about it. He was almost overshadowed, Jake.
Yeah, look, he played well, and both Mark and I picked that amongst many correct picks that we made at the start of the game. But yeah, look, he played really well, but it was just a continuation of the whole game and the tempo the match was played at. 400, and like Mark said, 430 odd runs. Just an amazing game of cricket.
Well, I can't quite see Tom Bartlett. He's gone behind the sight screen, but he's waving at me. I don't know if that means you're waving at me, Tom, because you got someone to talk to, or we're just standing by because you've got behind the screen, so I can't see you.
Unfortunately, at the moment, I'm just waiting on another broadcaster, which is a bit niggly, isn't it?
No, that's all right. We'll wait our patience. It's a virtue. I know you're going to get in down there and get us some reaction from this quite extraordinary game. So New Zealand take a 2-0 lead in this best of 5 match series. A 4-run win tonight, after the 53-run win. A 2-0 series lead, having of course not beaten Australia for 4 years in any format. They've now done it twice in a row. We'll go to Wellington with that series lead, but I would suggest that a 2-0 series lead does not mean the series is done by any stretch, Mark.
No, I think you're right. I think again the Australians probably were short of a gallop on the ball. They didn't assess the situation in my eyes quick enough, and were able to find the right line and length. Like I said earlier, that they kept sort of going back to the bowling slouncers where they used to get hit to 80-90 metre boundaries, and unfortunately today they were going over the fence. So they really looked like they struggled to come up with a plan B, C and D. So no doubt there's a bit of work for their brain trust to do before they go to Wellington. And look, don't get me wrong, like New Zealand, we weren't perfect either with the ball. An execution thing there slightly from how we were exceptional in Christchurch, and so they've got a few things they need to go away and work on for the next game in Wellington as well.
Player of the match is Martin Guptill to Wellington on Wednesday for their match. Double header, of course, to the White Ferns, 3 o'clock. That will start. We'll have commentary of that on Rover. Fist pump from the assistant coach Jacob Oram. He's going to get them right going into the T20 series against England. Got a one-day here tomorrow, and then of course 7 o'clock the Black Caps in Australia will be the third T20. Martin Guptill is player of the match. He almost had the bottle of Verve stolen from his hands by Marcus Stoinis, and I think now that he's finished up on the tally, I'm going to go back over to Tom Bartlett, who I still can't quite see, and now he's really gone behind the sight string, but I'm pretty sure after a photo, oh, there he is, hang on, he's come jogging around the corner. You're just going to wait for the photo, aren't you? And then, then Martin Guptill's going to come over and have a yak.
Yeah, I'm told that. He's just, the obligatory sponsor snaps, which is, all part of the wonderful game of professional sport that we have now. We're just going to wait for Martin, who's obviously in hot demand. Here he comes. He's going through the media commitments. Well done, Martin. Congratulations, but obviously on the win first. Let's just start with that. It was a bit close there.
Certainly was. Storney's almost done it to us before up in Auckland, so, it made a great game of cricket, didn't it?
It certainly was. Over 400 runs and obviously started with your innings. Talk us through it, because it's no secret you'd been battling a bit, but today it all came good.
It did. You need a little bit of luck in this game sometimes, and unfortunately I hadn't had much in the last little bit, but to get a wide half volley first ball was nice to get going, and then to see it through with obviously put on a big partnership with Kane was fantastic to set the innings up.
They often say that you just need to get the first one away. Was that a bit like what it was today? You got that first one away and all of a sudden they were flying, particularly long off, where anyone down there was in trouble?
Yeah, I don't know if it was the first ball, but maybe from the third over I think I started to settle in a wee bit more. So, but no, as I said, nice to score some runs, but more importantly get the win.
Yeah, and the team today, obviously, to get 220, Australia, you've talked about Marcus Stoinis. He has come close. It's a couple of times you guys have dodged a bullet there, but the composure from the bowlers at the end there?
Yeah, they did fantastic. Bolty's last over was absolutely fantastic, and then, Timmy struggled in his third over, but came back really well in his last over there to really shut it out for us.
And obviously 2-0 in the series. It's a good place to be.
Certainly is. On to Wellington next week, and hopefully we can put on another good show there for the Wellingtonians.
And just a word on Dunedin. Obviously, you guys have got a pretty good record down here. You haven't lost too often, and it's proving to be it was obviously a cracking day. Good crowd.
Yeah, it was good fun. Students on the bank, things like that. A bit of heckling going on, but no, it's all part of the fun.
Hey, well done on the win and your own performance today, Martin. Well done.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
So there you go. The words of Martin Guptill. 97 today, Rikki Swannell. What a performance from the man of the match.
Absolutely good work, Tom Bartlett, down on the pitch. The Black Caps 2-0 up in the series, an enthralling 4-run win. We go next to Wellington on Wednesday night, where it, of course, will be live on Magic Talk and Rover. On behalf of Tom Bartlett, Mark Craig and Jacob Oram, I'm Rikki Swannell. We will see you Wednesday in Wellington.
News from NewsHub, New Zealand's #1 news source.
It's emerged the family with 3 COVID-19 cases announced this week had a private viewing of their home on Saturday. The agent and 3 attendees were there for half an hour. All have been tested and are awaiting results. There are no new community cases today and 3 at the border. A stabbing in Alexandra has left one person with serious injuries. Police say the incident is believed to have happened around 11:30 following a confrontation between 2 people known to each other. The 22-year-old victim was flown to Dunedin Hospital, where he remains after surgery. Police are aware of the alleged offender's identity and are appealing to him to hand himself in. Air New Zealand's boss is looking for silver linings in its financial results. The national carrier announced a total net loss of $72 million for the final 6 months of 2020. Greg Foran admits the year was full of turbulence, but is proud of the way the airline was able to keep working. Police say they only have slim leads on a climber who's been missing for 3 months. 53-year-old Marnie Shepherd posted a photo on her Twitter account on the 19th of November with the title, "Off to the Mountains." Her last recorded bank transaction was at Darfield. And in sport, the Black Caps have survived a withering late onslaught to edge the Australians by 4 runs in a thrilling T20 clash in Dunedin. They seem to be cruising to victory after the Aussies slumped to 113 for 6, chasing 220 for victory in Game 2. But Daniel Sams and Marcus Stoinis unleashed a barrage of sixes. Earlier, Martin Guptill returned to form with a sweetly struck 97, alongside a half-century from Kane Williamson and 45 off 16 balls from Jimmy Neesham. The bowling wavered before Neesham got rid of Sams and Stoinis in the final over, and New Zealand held on to take a 2-0 lead in the 5-match series, Game 3 in Wellington on Wednesday.